you ready?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Dean Images Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Dean Thompson, and I have got an amazing guest with me today. As always, Damon Merchant, the points leader of MPK at the moment. They call him the new guy. I've heard so many new phrases. The I Love Hot Damon t-shirts are flying off the shelves, folks. There are women who want to be with him, men that want to be him. And
two-time guest.
Two-time, yeah. This is the second time he's been on, by the way. I appreciate you being here.
Third podcast.
Third podcast. Okay, folks, seriously. The thing is, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have time to do shit
And I live like
anymore.
I live like a couple miles down the road, so it's easy.
Easy.
I'm easy.
This was actually really awesome because we had talked about this for a couple days, and I was like, so do you want to come over and do one? He's like, yeah, man, let's do it. And I had got the shop all cleaned up, and it hit 107, and I said, bring your table with you. We're doing this shit in the guitar room.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this in the house.
But it was actually pretty good because before we even actually started the podcast, we were mixing some drinks. He's looking around the walls and he's going, are all of these guitars left-handed? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, because Damon's left-handed. And he was,
I was playing them in my head.
Yeah, and I was like, dude.
Oh, I could play that one. And I go, holy shit, that's left-handed.
Anytime you want to come over and learn to jam,
I need
just
to.
Holler.
It's one of those things my dad has always wanted to learn how to play.
Yeah.
And here he is, 70 years old, still doesn't know. And I know it's like a bucket list thing for him.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to hit that mark one of these days. Yeah. And I always wanted to play too.
Well, the greatest thing is like, if you're one of those guys like, I just want to learn a couple songs. Well, then learn 4 chords and you can learn pretty much every country western, every rock song, because they're all based off 3 to 4 chords.
Okay.
And that's what most people don't understand, because I hear all the just all the crazy shit going on, and you're like, no, that's the crazy thing. There's always a chord progression in the background.
Okay.
And then when they break it down to acoustic, that's whenever you hear those acoustic songs, like, man, that's badass. Like, yeah, it's the same 4 chords.
Shit.
Right? Yeah, but that's the cool part. When you break stuff down to the bare bones, I mean, that's when it's even cooler. So
that's what it is.
So anyway, I'm excited that you were able to make the podcast. I know that
these are cool, man. I like them. We had fun last time.
We need to do more of them. I mean, we really do, but it's just,
it's time. Like, just taking a break to do anything right now is difficult. It's hard.
It's difficult.
I mean, like getting the yard mode. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, it's a couple hours.
But thank God for, I don't want to piss any farmers off, but thank God we haven't had a bunch of rain and it's been really hot because the grass has stayed low. Like you can get out there and knock it out. We've had some summers where it's rained nonstop, and it's like you're mowing every weekend to get home.
Lacey still runs the sprinklers, so right around the house is constantly growing.
Lovely. And the water bill's going up.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks good.
Yeah.
But, it does when I mow it.
Right.
But whenever I don't, and I don't have time to get to it, it starts getting out of control. So we're adapting.
We're adapting. Yeah, and that's got to be like, not, I can imagine you guys pulling in with the trailer, everything, and having like so much shit to unload, and you're like, fucking yard. That's the first thing I got to get back to. Like, oh man,
if I can catch that in the next 2 or 3 days, I'll be happy.
Yeah, but then you look and you're like, I'm gonna have to do it at like 6 a.m. because it's gonna be 109 tomorrow. Kind of like it was at Tulsa, man. It was hotter than hell.
It was so hot there.
I
started sweating. As soon as we got there about an hour before the gates opened.
Yeah.
As soon as I got out of the truck, started sweating, and I didn't stop until probably I hit the shower. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
It was constant. I did not feel good Friday.
There was at one point where me and some of the other photographers and just some of the race guys, we were all like, we would sit there and, having like little side bets going like, I bet you the heat index hits 120. It got to 119.
Yeah, the track was 140.
Oh my God.
Track surface was 140,
so
141.
Was it a little greasy?
No, actually it wasn't.
Was good?
Yeah.
Track was good?
It stayed fairly, tacky, and
I was wondering at like one point but those tracks only use water, so they
depends.
But I mean, even though those tracks only use water, so there's not a really good. Is there any good chance of it getting kind of greasy?
I want to say Kentucky.
Yeah.
track surface was like 123 or some shit like that. And
Yeah.
it was a little greasy. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it just
weird.
differs.
It just depends what that like the base of it is, and
Right.
What's been on it. But for some reason, Tulsa's
Tulsa's nice.
gangster.
Yeah. Everyone was hooking up, man.
Well,
I mean,
for sure in the left lane, I heard rumblings about the right lane not being so great Saturday. But we started.
You ran it pretty good.
Yeah, we started pretty late Friday. Actually, they pushed it back, so we started pretty late on Friday, and both lanes were, it wasn't one that we favored.
Right.
Saturday, it seemed like the left one was a little bit better.
Everyone went left lane.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's a few cars went down right. I think when Ryan raced Nate, he was in the right lane, had that accident, but he already won the race.
Yeah.
So.
And they said they got the track cleaned up, but Kaylee, when she went down in Kong, they had like a pretty bad oil spill there, I think, on the right lane too.
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and I think a lot of people were kind of, I don't know if they're necessarily bitching about it, but they were like, yeah, these damn, snowmobiles going down and shit like that, like messing the track. I was like, it seemed like they hooked up and they just went down. I didn't see like they were leaving anything behind.
Well, that's one thing about Tulsa. I mean, just personal experience. I haven't been to any of these other tracks,
right?
Other than Kentucky, to race. But I know the staff at Tulsa. Jimmy is amazing, and if Jimmy's coming back on the tractor and gives you a thumbs up, you know it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure those other tracks have their guys, but I tested and raced up there enough to know him, and if he tells you it's good, it's good.
Now, is Jimmy the one? Is he the bigger set guy or the one with the mustache goatee?
Bigger set guy.
Okay, he was the one that you threw the T-shirt at that missed it. I got some really good.
I got
photos.
him the second time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got
Nailed
some
it.
really good photos of him, like with his hands up, like trying to grab, and that's one I really wanted to post, and I hope that
dude's great.
I hope the Raceway sees that, because that's one thing I love about more than anything is trying to make sure everybody gets included, because those guys are so important.
You do such a good job.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I just hear that over and over and over. Since we started doing this, I mean, through everything, no matter what, whether you want to be or not, you're affiliated with me.
Yeah. Well, and kind of comes with the territory.
But I hear it over and over and over, just how much everybody appreciates your pictures and how you tend to be involved with everybody.
I try to tell a story, man. I mean,
track staff.
Yeah.
The production.
Oh, yeah. And they're
the
all
other
cool.
racers, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, well, that's your, but just like that post you made with Robin.
Yeah.
He had some badass pictures of him. And you made that. That's what it's all about.
And he's cool too, because just like when I was working up around,
he's super nice.
I was
guy.
up in Alva, and I posted that picture where I was pulled off on the side of the road eating all the sand plums.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he commented and was like, dude, I used to work up there years ago and stuff. And it's just amazing how much you have in common with these people. And that's the thing. You can make a silly post or this, that, and the other. And even my cousin E wrote to me, and she goes, I don't know if he's re-quoting you or if he just loves the idea of it, because whenever he got tagged and Drag Illustrated as driving a Camaro, and he's actually driving the Firebird, he's like, come on, guys. And I was like,
get it right.
I was like, that ain't no Camarino, that's a fire chicken. So the next day he posted a picture of his with the quote fire chicken next to it. I was like, yeah, it's cool, man.
I sat and talked to him a little bit at Tulsa the other day. Just, I think right before a driver's meeting or something.
Yeah.
And these guys get all, these people get all wrapped up in personalities clash and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you know me a long time, I can get along with anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
same here.
Just if we're good, we're good. If we're not, then I won't fucking talk to you or whatever.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. Robin's always been pretty straight up with me. I've seen the shit that goes on social media and the way the show portrays him sometimes and shows things, but I don't get wrapped up in all that shit. He's been always super cool. He's nice to me. Like,
I've never had a problem with him.
Right.
I mean,
But man, he gets a bad rap sometimes on social media and stuff.
Really?
And I just watch it and go, damn, y'all don't really, I don't think you know him.
I try not to pay attention to that because, I mean, even if it's something in their past or whatever. But, I mean, him, his wife, they've all just been super, super cool to me. And, I mean, and that goes for, like, pretty much every racer out there. You know, I mean, I've only met Swanstrom like face to face like twice, just like, hey, how you doing? And I've taken his picture and I'll post it to his, you know, and he'll tag or, you know, comment on it and stuff.
Any experience I've had with him has been great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he's good for the sport.
Yeah.
I think he's done really well coming into this thing and making a name, you know, for himself. But that dude's been racing since he was like 15 and like gangster ass cars.
Yeah.
Like no bullshit. Got into this because he loved it.
Yeah.
And everything. It was a challenge for him and his dad to get into it. And, you know, people love to hate him a lot of times. But to be honest, he's fucking great for this. And I've said it over and over and over, whether you like him or not, the sport needs guys like that.
Yeah, not just the sport, but even like the show.
Oh,
because how much does he push that shit?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the thing. Like
he's a social media giant.
Yeah. Yep,
I mean, big time.
And he goes, you know, he's got tentacles like everywhere. Just like he's got a podcast that he's doing, and he's out like what do you say, advertising. He's everywhere.
Yeah,
pushing the brand, pushing the sport, pushing his brand, and you know, so you need guys like that.
Oh yeah,
you need guys like that to get into this deal. You know, there's a lot of people that have been into it for a long time, been complacent, and you know, it's just it's kind of out of their realm to be that social. Really, you know what I mean? Like they just
it cracks me up because you look at some of his posts and he there's sometimes where he's being serious and sometimes like a 16-year-old kid. Like every one of his posts are just like makes you laugh your ass off because they just
posted one of taking a shit.
Yeah, they're just lofty thoughts or whatever the hell he's doing. And I'm like, because how old is he? Like 25?
Mid-20s, yeah.
Oh,
early 20s, something like that.
I have to go through my Facebook memories once in a while and find shit that I posted when I was like 21. Like, delete that. That's going to get a strike immediately.
Bro, the one of you and Andy doing the Sling Blade deal. All-time favorite. And how old were you?
Dude, that was... I think we were
early 20s?
We were living together in Norman. Cadence was probably in her bedroom asleep.
She was born?
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't get. I didn't drink when Cadence was there. If it wasn't my weekend, we would get slaughtered and just do wacky shit like this could go on Tosh.0.
Oh, we gotta put it out there.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I got a reputation to uphold and a past to completely forget about.
You being on the school board changes a lot of shit. Now,
yeah. I'm not gonna say that I'm incriminating myself. It's just I don't think I want anyone to go back and be like, well, no, I didn't. But they still look at like, oh, thank God he's grown up a little bit. Because if he would have kept going that route, he'd be in jail or just.
To me, I thought you did a great job impersonating Doyle. Like fucking nailed it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you have to realize. I mean, we were just talking about Dwight Yoakam.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's Dwight. If Dwight had never got famous and just stayed white trash, that would have been him every day. He'd be coming in buying lotto tickets and a six-pack.
Shout out Dwight Yoakam.
Dwight Yoakam, you kick ass. You're so cool. And just not just music. Do more movies, please.
Yes,
please, for God's sake. Wedding Crashers, Crank with Jason Statham as the doctor. I mean, he was fantastic. And he cemented himself by playing Doyle, in Sling Blade. I mean, everybody. I don't know how many people.
But you did a great job impersonating him.
We had some.
It's fucking hilarious.
We had some fun. Andy would always.
He told me that he did it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fun. It's funny." When I seen it, I was like, "Oh,
when I sent you the video,
that's
you're
gold,
like,
bro."
I was like, I pulled that off my YouTube channel a while back.
You didn't say anything that wasn't in the movie.
No, I know, but it's just this day and age, you can only get away with so much.
I get it.
Well, let's get down to business, man. We got to catch up. We've had a lot going on, dude. I mean, I was absolutely sick that I made the Ohio. We got to watch, picking teams, all that jazz, just the fun stuff, and then I straight up just had to work, couldn't be there, and then Epping, dude. I mean, tell us about it. I mean, just
we've had
everything up from Ohio to.
So we
Epping.
hadn't had a podcast since before the season.
Yeah, I think it was cold.
It was cold. Yeah, because we did it in your shop.
So it's been a few months.
I'm sorry, I feel like Lacey's like
she doesn't think you're doing a podcast.
She's trying to give me what do you call it?
What? She's trying to make you feel sympathy for her?
Yeah.
Oh, because she's not here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
So I'm gonna send her that.
Say, hey, we're doing this live, lady.
Because she said eating dinner alone, and now she's watching UFC fights alone, and she keeps bringing it up that she's alone.
At least she's not. But I say, why don't you switch over to Lifetime and have yourself a nice cry? Oh Lord.
Dean said, switch it over to Lifetime and have yourself a nice cry alone.
Ooh, I meant for you to say that.
Look at that.
Oh God.
I'm gonna put in parentheses.
In parentheses. Yeah.
Alone.
So now Lacey's gonna hate me more than she already does. Take it. Yeah.
She loves you.
Nah, I love her.
She loves you. Okay.
I saw a comment from a woman that was like, let me know when the I Love Hot Damon's Wife t-shirts arrive. And she was like, never going to happen.
I know. Shit. Like we've had requests. We've had requests. Put them out there. It's what the people want.
Yep, they do. They see that. They see that woman up there pulling you up to the lights, and they're like, damn.
She said, I'm not that female.
That's right. Yeah, she's not that female. She's definitely not that female. But,
going back to haven't done a podcast since before the season started.
Yeah.
And we thought we had an idea what we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm as much as I want to come into this thing and go, oh yeah, we're going to fucking dominate. We're going to kick ass. We're going to do this and that.
Yeah.
Not me.
You knew you had work
I come
to do.
from a background of racing, MMA, a few other little things, you know what I mean? Kickboxing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very humbling sports.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I know how quick some shit can go wrong and how quick you look like a fucking dumbass. And I had no idea, to be honest. Like, I felt like we made some good decisions, how we were going to run our combination and how we were going to run the car.
Yeah.
And I had good people involved making those changes.
Right.
And holy shit, how they worked out. You know what I mean? Like, we showed up to the first race in Ohio. And to be honest, after we did a few grudge races and then we got picked in the draft, third round, very end of third round.
Yeah.
Me and Bobby got picked together by Bodie.
Yep.
Back to back because he had the last pick in third round. So got picked up. To be honest, not gonna lie, Bodie's probably the last one I thought would take a chance on us.
It was getting down to it. And I was like, I was waiting on Dave.
I text Lacey and said, I've never been the last kid to be picked in kickball. You know what I mean? Like,
you just said humbling. You just said humbling.
No. It started off that way.
You stood up there like, all right. Every time someone else was picked, you're like, oh. I could tell. You didn't look like you were getting pissed, but you looked like you were getting like, oh shit, what's happening?
And to be honest, I seen it coming.
Yeah.
We had no MPK experience, and it's not just the race. You know what I mean? It's not just this round. It's, can you make it to all the races? That was kind of the number one question.
That was the thing.
Do you have all the spare parts?
Yeah.
Do you have, not just to me, but to everybody?
Everybody, yeah.
Do you have the rig to make it to all these races? You know what I mean? It's a fucking marathon. And once I started hearing these questions, it got a little bit more distant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I had no idea if we could race with these guys. You know what I mean? As far as car to car.
Yeah.
We took a chance on a combo that nobody else has really ran. Reaper took a shot at it with a combination that was similar and did not have very good luck with it. and changed over completely to turbos, and he's doing his thing with that. But it is a combination that we ran on the street for many years, and other other no preps, not MPK,
right?
Other no preps in the region, Oklahoma, Texas, this, that, and the other, that we had success with, even though it was less than what most people had.
Right.
Armageddon,
Mm-hmm.
the Brawl in the Falls,
Yeah.
Dirty South no prep. We went to some good no prep races, and kind of was filling it out.
Yeah.
And we were competitive. We made it to a lot of finals. We made a lot of semifinals. We won a couple. And it just seemed like a combination that we had a good hold on for us and what we were doing with the car. So about 2.5 years ago, I made had the idea of making that same kind of combination, but just bigger and better.
Right.
Better block, better rods, better everything.
Yeah.
That first engine that we had was just, if I seen it in Jegs or Summit and thought it was badass, I ordered it. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing was just fucking magazine pot. Steel rods, which is something that nobody really hears of, in what we do. So that was the idea. That was the whole idea behind it. Let's build something that's similar, but fucking badass.
Yeah. See how far we can stretch it.
So about 2.5 years ago, we started in on that. I bought the block.
I remember that thing sat in your office forever.
Forever. Yeah.
And
to be honest, I say that Steve Gertis helped me out a lot with it.
Yeah.
They own and run South 40, which I'm affiliated with, and I help out a lot. He jumped in and helped me out with the block. Then I got with Lewis at Crower, which I've always ran his cranks.
Yeah.
I've had really good luck with it. I mean, I've probably got 800 passes on his crank on the other engine, and we beat the shit out of that thing.
Wow.
So, I feel like we used a lot of stuff that we believed in. Ordered the crank, got it in, ordered the rods, ordered the pistons. Like, over time, I saved up a little bit and ordered stuff. I had been watching, and that was pretty much for the short block. So, started accumulating parts for it. Over time, over the last probably 3 years, I have been watching Matt's videos at MBE, and I think I talked about this in the last podcast. Huge fan of his. Like, I just couldn't wrap my mind around how much information he was willing to put out there on his products and stuff. Loved it. I was just fucking drawn in like a kid. Anyway, and I thought anybody that stands behind their product like that, and is willing to put that much shit out there on what they're doing and believe in their product that much, that's who I want to be affiliated with. You know what I mean? So we reached out to him. We got we didn't know much about it as far as boost, because they had never built the Big 9 combination for boost. Right. And at the time, for some reason, in my head, I thought he had a screw blower on him before. Yeah. And then come to find out, when he comes to Virginia, that wasn't true. I've got the first set of blower heads that he did for the Big 9, which is a big block Chevy base, 9-degree head. I mean, there's fucking tons of videos out there on it.
So he'd never had them tested to this point?
Not under boost,
Oh, so he's like...
And they're water jacket heads, which people are like, holy shit.
So this is like good data for him.
Oh, yeah, this is all R&D shit. Like, we have no idea what it wants, how it wants it, what to do with it. That's been one of the things.
Makes you wonder, like, how much more badass they're going to get now. Now that he knows, these can handle this. Now let's build some that, that can handle that kind of stuff.
So over time, we built this combination. I had no idea who the fuck was going to build it.
Right.
John Fabian built my first engine basically in his backyard here in Chickasha. We built the transmission. We built the third member. Like, everything was just back there in his backyard. Let's throw this shit together and go racing.
Right.
It held together forever. It was a killer combo. But he would always recommend, Gerald as a machinist, and stuff.
Right.
And I was taking things up to him, getting things like getting machine work done to him, and then take them over to John's. Well, it came down to the time where I needed things freshened up. I needed things now, basically. We're racing a lot. Here we are racing on the street with the guys and top 10 list and everything else. And I didn't even know it at the time, but like Sean used him, Dave used him, Chief used him. A lot of people used him. I thought, Shane, the Blackbird Vega.
Yeah.
Yeah, he built his engines and stuff. And I thought, damn, a lot of people use him, but I didn't know that at the time.
Right.
And to be honest, I'll go back real quick. When the car was red and I first got it, I went and talked to him about building an engine for it. Me and my dad did. And I remember leaving there going, I'll never be able to afford to do a motor with this guy. You know what I mean? Like he wants, it wasn't like he was overpricing and things. It's just shit was just too high. You know what I mean? So anyway, fast forward 4 or 5 years later, I'm back at his shop, going,
got some money, man.
I've been working my ass off for a while here, and we've got this engine, but I want to make it aluminum now because we had a steel block. So Craig, I found a block in Cleveland, Ohio. This was right when COVID hit.
Yeah,
things were hard to get, hard to find. It matched it pretty close. So Craig hauled ass to Cleveland, Ohio, picked it up. We got it back. We put everything that was in that steel block over into a cast aluminum block.
Wow.
And I used the same crank, same rod, same pistons. Like, we made it match. I didn't have money to fucking
buy all the new shit.
All the new shit to make this is brand new, Right. So anyway, he had done that engine for me. And, we went to Armageddon.
Yeah.
Right after we built it, I threw it in, still had the power glide in it.
Yeah.
Took it to Armageddon, and out of 42, 46 cars, something like that, we make it to the semifinals with Ryan, and Kayla got the bye.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were some fucking badass killer cars there. I mean, the hitters were there. Now, Armageddon was the thing, 3 years ago or so.
Right. And it's getting bigger too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Armageddon's ridiculous big now.
It was huge, small tire this year, but so like, fuck, we're competing with the big dogs here. Yeah. But I knew what my combination was. I mean, it was a 20-degree headed big block Chevy conventional, but I still had the power glide. So, Keith Caraway come up to me like, what can we do for you to beat Ryan? We ran him hard. We ran him good. We broke a third member right before. Quick Performance was there on location, had the same gear set sitting there. Yeah. And they were Johnny on the spot, super cool, and helped me out right then and there.
Wow.
Pay us later, whatever. Fast forward to now, that's a great relationship I have with the car. Yeah. But they were right there with the third member. We got it swapped out between quarterfinals and semifinals. Got to race Ryan. Did not have a drive shaft sensor on it, and at that time we were, using more traction control stuff. Right. So what we had in just didn't hook. I think it went straight to the. We got out there about 200 foot and it started going to the wall pretty hard. Anyway, Keith Caraway stepped up, asked me what the hell could we do to this car that would make it, run with Ryan. I felt like we had the motor and stuff by then because we had a lot of weight out of the car. Yeah. And he does all the anodizing for M&M Transmissions out of Missouri. Mark Mickey and them. And I feel like I kind of helped hook that deal up. So he, in return, he came and checked out my car one day and was like, that shifter is amazing. Who makes that? I told him M&M out of Missouri. So he calls them to order a shifter. They strike up a conversation somehow. He said, I've been doing anodizing for 45 years or so.
Right here in Chickasha too, right?
Right here in Chickasha. And Mark said, oh, yeah, like what kind of return time, what kind of turnaround time do you have? He's like, within a week. Well, Mark had been shipping shit to, I think, New Jersey. and taking weeks to get stuff back.
Really?
So he sent him some samples, said, do these, put them in line, do them when you can, send them back. I want to see the samples.
I bet Keith did it immediately.
He had them in 3 days. And he said, can I get this returned? Mark can, he may watch this, he may not, but can you do that all the time? Absolutely. Like he's established, you know what I mean? 45 years, he's got it down.
Oh yeah.
And,
and
everybody runs his shifters right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody that's
I've noticed just from kind of glancing in the cars, like holy shit.
Keith does all those anodizing, all the anodizing for him. So like the one that they did for Lizzie, that was like breast cancer awareness. That was hot pink.
Yep.
I got to see it before it ever even went back to Mark.
You went and saw it, Keith. Man, that's
badass.
badass.
I take stuff down there all the time. But anyway, we put it through. We got together. I told him a 3-speed would be much better in the car instead of that fucking power glide. We made that happen. And then we started having some real good success with the car. Mm-hmm. So, here we go into MPK. I dabbled a little bit in the future class last year, but I knew like I had it set up exactly like how we ran it on the street.
Right.
And we had some good races for us. But I knew what kind of changes we needed to make. We made them over this last winter break.
Yeah.
And just threw ourselves right to the wolves in MPK. And lo and behold, all this time I thought we were going to get to race with the 405. Mm-hmm. These are my boys I've been racing with.
Yeah.
I was ready to go. And boom, you're going to be in
teams.
A draft.
Draft for teams.
Yeah. So, you were there with me. Craig, Lacey, the kids, mom and dad. Anybody else you can think of? Like it wasn't a huge crowd.
No,
Mark, and Tammy showed up.
Yeah.
Mark's been with me from day one.
Mark's a good dude.
Fuck yeah,
great dude.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, just in Tulsa. I mean, the fact is, how old is he?
There isn't.
How old is he? Is he in his 60s?
Yeah, he's early 60s.
But
late 50s, I think.
Late 50s, but still,
I always get his.
Just the fact is like how hot it was out there, and every time you came
He'll stand right by that car.
He would jump down on his back and get underneath it and throw me this, throw me that. Like he's take charge.
He's been doing this for 40 years, I think. He's in the military a long time. Mm-hmm. He retired from the military early, but he's been race carring forever. And the day that the frame started going together in that car, the main frame rail started getting laid. Yeah. He was a part of this deal. So, I mean,
I know he's got hearing aids, but that's the thing is like he's one of the only guys I know that literally stand right next to your zoomies and give you a heads up, and then you'll just floor it, and he'll just kind of look to the left and be like, or look to the right and be like, yeah, it's good.
Oh, he's listening.
I'm like, Jesus Christ,
he's listening to that car.
We're all over there just like.
He's worked for the who's who of Pro Stock, Pro Mod, everything else. Back in the day. I think he loves the challenge of no prep. But I mean, he's been like a racing father figure.
Yeah, he really has.
So, I mean, there isn't anything that we do to that car that he doesn't, acknowledge or know or something. I run everything by him. Mm-hmm. I think.
I love watching him walk the track.
He's just,
that like before you like you might be like 2 cars behind, or they're just everyone's pulling up, and he'll be walking that track. And there's just I know everyone walks the track. Most racers, most
a lot of them that walk it don't know what the fuck they're even looking at.
But Mark, it's almost like it's like he can feel it.
Yeah. I need to learn more from him. Like he's taught me so much.
Yes.
Like even about driving, because getting up to this point, I had done some bullshit racing, street racing, slow track style racing, shit like that, and that he's made me more comfortable about racing this car.
Right.
And I've probably got 2,000 hits in this car now, and he's just been a part of every one of them. I've never let go of the button and didn't feel confident because I know that he's like got me.
Yeah, and he can tell just the minute you make a pass. Even if you win, he'll be like,
oh yeah,
we need to make some changes.
No matter what that fucking data says in the fuel tech, he watches the mechanical side of everything.
Yeah,
between the tires, the spark plugs, like.
Well, I mean, that's like I said. He's almost like a guru. Like, what? Don't you want to wait till we get back and check the data? He's like, I don't even see it.
Yeah, he don't have to.
He knows what the tire did. He knows what the car did.
How hard it hit the bars.
What it needs to do now.
Yep.
And,
I mean, I owe him a ton to
gratitude.
what we've been doing.
Yeah. And he's a cool dude. I mean, that's the thing on top of it. I've never seen that guy like lose his shit.
Yeah. No, he's always cool.
I mean, because you have to realize being around all those car racers, everyone explodes, melts down.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Only time I saw Mark one time is because I think
he gets excited, like he gets happy.
He gets excited, but one time I saw him where he's just not necessarily pissed off, and maybe just a tad bit snippy. And it was partly my fault because you guys were supposed to be working on something, and I was showing y'all all a GoPro video or something.
Yeah,
he walked out and he's like, "Was anyone going to help me on this one? Where'd all my workers go?" And I'm like, "Y'all guys need to get back to work. I'll do this shit later."
This past week at Tulsa, he's reading spark plugs.
Yeah.
And he's going through them. He's going through them with Craig, and I think they got Joe on the phone or something.
Yeah.
We had a local from Chickasha in the pits. We had a lot of them.
Yeah.
They all like to drink. And we had one come up and was
who you're
really
talking
getting
about.
in the business of what's going on. And he's holding these spark plugs, and the dude reaches down to show him something, and he goes, "SWAT." He's like, "We're doing something," like, and just like, go on. But God, I was like dying that he was doing.
It's a fun.
I love it.
At the end of the day, it's a fun job, but it's
serious.
But to Mark, it's still a job.
Fuck yeah, it is. It's
mean,
serious.
and that's the thing is like you know when you're overstepping your boundaries. Mm-hmm. Like me, I'm always willing to like, what can I do to help? Yeah. If someone looks at me and says you can't at this point, I'm like, cool. I'll just film it. No, I'm not going to be a dick and be like, well, what's your problem? No, it's because if you're that stressed out to where you're like, I don't need any outside help right now.
It's my car.
Yeah,
it's my car. I spend everything on it, and when he tells me to get the fuck away from it, I get the fuck away from it. I'll go do something else.
That would be so good.
Hilarious.
Like, fucking driver, get out of here.
Get
man.
out of here. Go do something.
You don't know shit.
And I would listen to him.
Hey, yeah.
But him and Craig have me. Like, when I know that they're doing their thing, I just get the fuck out of the way, and I tell them what I felt.
Yep.
I tell them. What I think about stuff, and I'll jump in there and change spark plugs and all that shit. But like, I leave them to the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And they do their thing on it. Mark tells me what I need to know, and Craig the same. I tell them, I don't look at data before I tell Craig what's going on. Yes. And we talked about that the last podcast.
Yeah.
That way it's genuine.
Yep.
I'm not looking at data going, oh yeah, I felt that. You know what I mean? Like, we go through it before we start. Wow, it's fucking downloading.
Yeah. Well, even like, that was what was crazy before is, you were having some issues on something, and I was like, wonder if I can hook a GoPro up where we can watch it.
That was your idea. Yeah,
and then you're like, maybe. And then we all got back and watched it, and Mark and Craig were like,
the shocks were bottoming out.
We need to fix that.
So when we ran it on the street, we had it set a certain way.
Yeah.
And we had shims in it. Mm-hmm. And then we noticed this problem that we were having. This is all in Ohio, very first race. Well, we had it all in testing. We didn't make one clean testing hit. So we showed up to Ohio going, well, it's doing this, it's doing that.
Right.
We need to get this fucking thing figured out. Made one test hit in Ohio. But on the way up there, we had Joe on the phone, and we're going over data, and we're like just brainstorming.
Yeah.
And we kind of had a hunch that this might be an issue. We made one pass. We looked at data. Still didn't quite pinpoint it. And then you had the idea of putting the GoPro under it.
Because you said towards the end, when all the G-force was pushing down on it, that's whenever you're getting real bad shake or something.
Not G-force, it was just downforce.
Just downforce, downforce.
Air, from a wing and everything else. But
I'm an idiot. That's what I love hanging with it. I get corrected all the time.
Yeah.
And
so do I.
Yeah.
So when I get a chance to do it, I do it. I jump all over it. Because usually it's Mark or Craig looking at me like,
he's
I'm
like,
an
I
idiot.
can't wait for Russell to start spewing shit out. It's like, dude, just shut up.
Let me shut that shit down.
Yeah, shut that shit down. And let me tell you what, it's not G-Force, you jackass. We're not flying fucking F-16s.
It's G-Force for a while, and then it's just fucking downforce.
And then it's downforce. But anyway, go ahead.
But anyway, we showed up to Ohio with that issue. So we didn't get to fucking run the car at full potential up to that point. It made some killer passes.
Oh, it did.
Holy shit. Like, I mean, right out of the gate, it's running better and more amazing than I ever would have thought it would, to be honest. So like I'm blown away.
Yeah.
But then we get there and then we start I think we had 3 test hits or something.
I think every time you came back, you're like, it's running good, but it's shaking the shit out of me.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah.
All the way up to the point where we raced to see if we were going to be an invitational or not. And we had Bodie Jr.
Yeah.
Surprising. So Bodie picked us up in the draft.
Yep.
3rd round pick, very last 3rd round pick. And then lo and behold, we go into chip draw and I pull Bodie Jr. And if you think back to last season, there was some fucking hitters at the end of last season, and Bodie Jr. was one of them.
Yes, he was.
He was a contender for Rookie of the Year. Like, he was kicking ass. So I'm like, shit, we got our hands full right out of the gate, and we got to find out if this is like a conflict of interest. I don't know Bodie very well at all, just from what the guys have told me. But like, seeing his demeanor around the racetrack, and but you never know how TV portrays somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's had this aura, been a hustler and shit around him.
Right.
He owns that car, and that's his bankroll that supports it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing against Bodie Jr. That's his, that's daddy's.
But it was kind of odd right at the beginning that he didn't pick him.
Yeah.
That was the first part that we're like, is he gonna? He's like in the 3rd round draft. Yeah.
Nate, I think, was the first pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He showed up to a few future races last year and was a fucking killer. Like,
Nate's
I don't
good.
think he lost any races that he showed up to.
No.
With that Nova.
Yeah.
Even did when everybody was raving about Jim Howe. Towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
And he was running good. He fucking like hauling ass in Colorado.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of those races in Steele, Alabama.
Yeah.
He shows up and Nate calls him. I think Nate calls him out for $5,000 or calls him out and they do it for $5,000 or something. And Nate fucked him up down there.
Nate's fucking
You know what
fast.
I mean? Like, so,
I mean,
that's
the
when
thing,
everybody was like, oh shit, if you draw Jim now, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, he pulls, no surprise. Nate would have been a top 5 pick for sure. And I think he was, but he was his first pick. I somewhat think them talking about things kind of in their group while they're, who's our next pick, whatever.
Yeah.
Him, Nate, and Bowman was a good pick too. Bowman's made all the races, got a killer combination, fast, very good racer, seasoned racer. Bowman wasn't a surprise to be a 2nd round pick at all.
Right.
So with those two there, I think Nate was a big contributor to Bodie's 3rd round pick, which was us. You know what I mean? Like, me and Nate had talked a few times.
Yeah.
He always seemed impressed of how I performed with what I had and everything else. Like, we talked in Steele, Alabama when he was parked out in the weeds and the gravel.
Yeah.
I talked to him. When I wanted to look at that car, I like Larry Jeffers stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go check out the car. I talk to him. Kind of hit it off. Whatever. We get picked 3rd round. Like I said, I feel like that was a group deal.
Yeah.
Bodie seen us. Anyway, Bodie Jr. had already been picked.
Yeah.
So he was off the table. He picked me and Bobby back to back. And then I draw him. Super fast car. It's got a big Pro Charge. I think it's 140 or something. Hemi combination. That's a known, good combination.
Yeah.
We get around him, and that was probably our first good, clean lick. Like, when I got back, I was like, okay, we fucking got it figured out.
Yeah.
Due to your your footage
Yeah.
under the car. We diagnosed exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And, made a couple little changes, and it just got better and better. We raced Lizzie the next round, which was, so the first round was like you getting in.
Yeah.
You're in invitational. Next round is, first round or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, however the fuck you want
Well,
to
don't
call
they do
that.
that? No, the race your way ends later if you lost it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was to see who was going to be an
Who was actually
invitational.
going to be an invitational. So this is kind of weeding everybody out.
This is weeding out who's going to be an invitational, who's not. Draw Lizzie the next day. Like, you come right off Saturday. You come into Friday. This is a Friday deal.
Because remember, everything started
Thursday.
on Thursday.
Thursday,
That was
Friday,
because you told me, you said, if you're going to come to Ohio, you need to be here Wednesday. And I was like, why? You're like, because everything starts Thursday. And I was like, oh, shit.
Okay, let me think about that.
Yeah.
Thursday was just testing.
Yeah.
And then the draft.
Yeah.
And then Friday we raced Bodie Jr.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was first round.
Yep.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
So,
but it felt like a full. It felt like 4 days. I mean, I can't believe
those
it was
5 weeks felt like what the fuck is what they felt like.
And that's the thing. I was like I said, I only showed up to Ohio. I couldn't make the rest of them. But my God, just Ohio wore me out. And then every time I talked to you, you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
Well,
I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, there's I don't know how I'm gonna do it, and there's, hey, I know you texted me 3 days ago, and I'm sorry because I don't know what that's everybody.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm not used to racing like this. Like, a
Right.
lot of these guys are into this, their sixth season, and they're like, this is how it goes, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is all
Right.
fucking still kind of new to me.
You're probably used to a couple weekends out of the month. It's local. It's close.
Right.
When
I did the street
Dallas,
show,
maybe as far as what? Yeah.
I did the street show. It was filmed right here in Chickasha and Elk City.
Elk City.
When I did it with Rogue, it was Okemah.
Yeah.
So I still worked every day.
Yep.
And then I think we filmed like 2 or 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just go film. Craig would drive home. I would sleep. Well, on the way home, we'd finish at like 3 a.m.
Yep.
I'd sleep on the way home, get home, take a shower, and go to work.
Yep.
Fucking catch a nap when I could or whatever. Anyway, I keep getting off topic. We pulled Lizzie
Yeah.
Saturday. And we ran, I know she's a top contender all the time. She has been season after season. Pat's badass at what he does with the car.
Yep.
They've got a killer car. They've had it and they've raced it for a little while. We had just made all these changes at Brando Speed to make the car run better on the track instead of the street. So we made all those changes. We're starting to get a handle on it. We have a good lick against Bodie Jr. Draw Lizzie, and we were out on her till about 400 to 500 feet, and boom, there she was, and she went around us. Okay, she runs a lockup. She runs kits on top of that. That thing can mile an hour.
That's what you told
me.
me.
She's a really good racer. Might have got treed a little bit. I mean, we're right there together, but she might let go of the button a little bit quicker than I did. I think she beat me by half a fender. Bumper, half fender.
Well, we slowed the video. Well, that's what I couldn't understand.
There.
I was like, I don't understand that. And, you're like, well, my 60-foot game in this car is
60
awesome.
to 330.
But you said, but I didn't understand it. You said, you have to understand that car miles an hour like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I didn't realize that's about catching up and then going around. Even though it did, it was really close.
Yeah.
Really close.
I'm not going to use realistic numbers, but say mine mile an hour to 100 in the 8th mile, and her mile an hour 115, 120.
Yeah.
That's fucking coming. 5 mile an hour makes a huge difference.
Well, it did.
And here she comes. So
the thing is, and I'm glad you explained this to me, because I was like, because I think I've said something about like, how did that car go faster, but the car that was slower beat it? And you said because from the distance from the start to the 8th mile, it's quicker out of the gate. Yeah, this car started off slow and then it sped up, but it couldn't catch that car. And I was like,
Shane Novak told me,
that's one of those things, like, that car's faster. It doesn't matter. This one got there quicker. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because if that one got there quicker, why is it not faster than this? And I was like, this is bullshit. Like I couldn't get it.
Now that you're watching GoPros on top of the car,
now I get it. I'm like, oh yeah, you were way out, and then whoa, like yeah, okay, I get it. But yeah,
Shane, I was fucking.
It makes you dumbfounded.
I was
doesn't
pretty naive there for a little while. We got the car going. I'm like, we're gonna have to get this thing a mile an hour. Like these turbo cars are fast. These nitrous cars are fast. Blah blah blah. You know, and I'm learning all the time.
We all are.
And Shane's like, first of all, he texts me back, those fuck mile an hour. And I was like, no, like they're fucking hauling ass. He was like, it's ET, fuck mile an hour.
Yeah.
It's all about ET. And I'll go, okay, you know, my car's going to do what it does. And we start winning these races. That wasn't this year. This was years ago.
Yeah.
So
he broke it down for you.
We're running races, and I'm like, I get it now. You know what I'm saying? And what's funny is I sent him videos today of how the car's performing and what we're doing and all this. He said, remember when I told you fuck mile an hour? And I was like, dude, I've said that so many times. And that was today. But anyway.
Proof's in the pudding, y'all.
Yeah. We left Ohio kind of licking our wounds, losing to Lizzie by about a half a fender, probably. My fender, something like that. But as much as I was licking my wounds, I was going, holy shit, we can run with these people.
Got a race car.
And I sent videos to Shane, and he said, you got fucking treed. You lost that on the tree. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. What the fuck am I going to do here? So we stand
quicker on the draw, man.
We sat in the campgrounds in Virginia, on Virginia Beach I took a week of vacation between Ohio and Virginia. And in my head, I'm like, how the fuck did I lose that on the tree? You know what I mean? I felt like we left dead together. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like we did. But then I start reviewing, and she, you know, her car hikes up a little bit quicker than mine. We're talking fucking milliseconds. So.
But it counts.
I go, bro, it counts. It fucking
You wouldn't
counts.
think so.
No, I mean, wait till you start seeing this season, or you go online and see where people are going, Damon's cheating, Damon's doing this, Damon's doing that on the tree. He's got something figured out with the tree. He's got a delay box. He's guessing.
What was that? What was that? Yeah, you got that delay box Bluetooth to your car.
Yeah, photo cell. Bro, I wouldn't know how to use a fucking delay box if you threw one in my lap.
See, that's what I wanted to say all the time when they're like, oh, he's using all these gadgets. I'm like, dude, he can't even Facebook. I'm sorry. He'd be like, hey, can you post this?
He's like, can't splice two videos together.
Oh my God, folks, I'm not shitting you. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. It just, I love watching how pissed off he can get.
Oh, it'll ruin my night.
He'll be like, fuck, can you take these 2 videos, these 6 photos, and make something 30 seconds so I can put some music behind it, so I can promote Street Outlaws, you know, get this thing.
I need it to be this amount of seconds.
I needed it yesterday, and he'll hit send, and he'll be driving. Like 2 minutes later, I send it back. He's like, is this good? And he's like, God damn, yes, that's
45
perfect.
seconds one time. And I'm like, how in the fuck did you do that? And he's like, took me 20 seconds to make that.
I'm sitting on the side of a location eating a sandwich. Like, yeah, I got you, bro. And then put it together and send it back to me. He's like,
so using a delay box, out the window. That's debunked.
I could put that one to bed all day. Like, okay, delay box. Can you want to watch him try to just link up his phone to his stereo and his Dodge?
I'm not tech savvy at all.
Is not.
So it's pretty comical.
Mm-hmm. It's fun.
Yeah. So we show up to Virginia, and it didn't even dawn on me that we were going to race as good as we raced. We were going to make it to the finals.
Yeah. All
that shit. We did testing. Matt from MBE showed up there, which was a huge deal for me.
Oh, imagine.
You know, I've said this a few times, and I'll say it now. Getting into this thing, I love the sport. And it's kind of allowed me to do a lot of things that I never thought I would ever see or do or anything. And meeting people like that and then having them show up to be in your corner,
right,
it just blows my mind.
Right.
And Matt made the trip from North Carolina. It was relatively close. I think it was 3.5, 4 hours for him.
But still, that's
yeah. It's a haul.
Yeah.
He shows up. and we do breakfast. We talk about this. First time I've ever met him. It's all been over the phone.
So it's been all business.
Oh yeah, it's all business.
Wow. Do you even know what he looked like?
From videos I've been watching his YouTube for 3 years.
YouTube.
He was a lot shorter than I thought he was going to be.
Shit. Oh, man.
And he's probably like, you're a lot bigger and heavier than I thought for a race car driver. You know what I mean? Not like I'm...
You getting a weight break?
Yeah, exactly. So he shows up. We do the breakfast was the first time I ever met him. Like when he walked in, raised my hand. I was there a little bit before him. He comes to the races. He's looking everything over. Mm-hmm. And another thing to all this, I even said something to Jimmy that works for him, which I thought was going to show up with him. He does all of his social media and does all of his media, YouTube, everything.
Right.
Jimmy Biggs told him, I said, hey, now it's not really a complex, but I want people to understand when they get there, they're not going to be in a big ass air conditioned toter.
They're gonna be out there sweating their asses off with us, basically.
If you watch the most, I think it wasn't last weekend or week before last.
Yeah.
You watch Dave knock off the 2 fucking air conditioners on that scaffolding in California.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have air conditioning right now.
Yeah.
Because Dave wiped them out. Thanks, Dave. But yeah, it's his trailer. Yeah. So he didn't replace them because he wants to put a mini split on it, and he ain't been using the thing. So he hadn't put the money into it and didn't want to take the time, whatever. So anyway, we've been using his trailer. So anyway, I tell him ahead of time, hey, I'm in a 1-ton. I've got the street trailer of Dave's that we use, all this shit. So I know you're probably used to like crew areas and all that shit. So bear with me.
Yeah, we got a little air mover.
Didn't phase him. Yeah. Didn't phase Matt at all. He's old school.
Down to earth
dude. Great guy. Shows up super, and he only shows up for Friday. Yeah. Super impressed with how the car ran and what we did with it. And at the time, we didn't know we were doing a lot of damage, to it. We was doing a lot of lean popping with it. That's the thing. Going back to this, nobody runs this combination, so we had no data to go off of. The heads are huge, flow a lot of air, super efficient. They're amazing, but nobody knew exactly how to run things. So we were just kind of fucking
figuring it out as you went.
Yeah. When we put it on Joe's dyno at Hyperactive, we had some oiling issues, so we couldn't really lean on what we wanted to lean on. And as long as we wanted to, we were fighting a lot of issues. And then we broke a third member on the dyno, which tore some shit up. So we had to just fucking unhook it and go home and start testing it. We had a little bit of that, a little bit of shit to go off of, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a lot of time with it. So after a few hits at Tulsa, which I think were like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think 5 or 6. This is game day. We showed up to MPK and started, testing and running and stuff. So anyway, we got through Ohio, showed up to Virginia. Didn't know exactly how this shit was going to go. Never raced there before. We're looking at air. We're doing this. We're doing that. Car runs good on Friday. I wasn't in grade 8 then because we didn't perform all that well in Ohio.
Right.
And, we raced ourselves right into the finals on Saturday, which at that time was kind of unheard of for somebody their first year coming in. And just fucking marching right into the finals in the first points race.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, that put us up high in points, because that first race wasn't for points. So Virginia was.
Yeah.
We had no part of, like I said, the grade 8 the day before. It was a lot of the same guys that had been kicking ass. Ryan, I think, Ryan won it.
Yeah.
Kai was runner up. We had a fucking killer car there. After we went, I think we went like 3 rounds where it was lean popping really hard.
Yeah.
And we finally got that figured out. We got it figured out. We got it fixed where, we put some fuel in some right places. But we were looking at a lot of at the top end of that thing. Well, we get into the finals with Kai. The air gets fucking amazing out there compared to what we're used to racing in.
Right.
I do my burnout. We get out there. I noticed it didn't want to stay running. So I'm like, ah, shit. Okay. So I'm like 2 foot in this deal all the way back. I get up there, throw it in neutral, setting the wheelie bars. We're checking everything. Lacey's getting up there to ready pull me in like she has, hundreds of times. I pull up and I'm 2 foot in it to get in, and I radioed to Craig, hey, this thing's acting funny. Doesn't want to stay running, this, that, and the other. That's probably the stickiest track we've ever been on, ever, with the car. I mean, everything that we've ever done with it. Lacey's foot gets a little bit stuck. She starts paying a little bit more attention to it than she does the car, and she pulls me a little bit far in. And I didn't really think too much about it, but as soon as I got, where she told me to stop, I was in the top beam. And usually we're six inches or so away from that,
right?
Whatever the hell her foot width is, because I never trip it and pull it back. Right. And we're in the top beam. Well, when I seen the top beam lit, I just got off the gas instead of throwing it right into neutral and just sitting in it. Hindsight, I could have done a lot of things. Yes. I could have double bulbed him, and they say, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing? Back up!"
Yeah,
it just wasn't there in my head. I got off the gas and it died. That's what happened there. By the time I did get it restarted, he done had 2 lit. And if you go back and look at it, if you look at some of the fan footage and anything else, he's sitting in. His light went green. He sat there for a fucking second at least, like waiting on me. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
And what's crazy about that is me and him went back and forth.
Yeah.
Online. I was trying to get my, state my presence or whatever. And he come out with that new car, and I told him how fucking ugly it was and everything else. And he shows up to Tulsa and has the track rented, and I wanted to test on it, and he wouldn't let me. Yeah. That's more inside shit.
Yeah.
Chuck's like, hey, Kai's got it rented. You want to get in on it? Hell yeah, I do. So he texts Kai, and Kai's like, nah. Damon guy, fuck him. No, he's called my car ugly. He's got feelings, So anyway, so, and I seen that, you know what I mean? That's just shit that sticks out to me.
Yeah.
I was having trouble. Well, that all happens, sucks. We lick our wounds, we go back, we learn. We didn't have enough fuel in it. You know what I mean? We didn't have enough fuel down low. So what we were having trouble with up top, and it was popping and fucking causing all this damage, it was doing it down low too. We just didn't realize how bad it was.
Oh,
so the car just died. It didn't have enough fuel. Yeah. That's why I had to 2-foot it. Anyway.
So even if you would have got the race, would it have run?
Oh yeah, it would have ran. Wide open throttle, we had it. And to be honest, I feel like I feel like at Virginia, I feel like I outran him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can watch cars, you can see them go.
Yeah.
Brainerd, whole different story. It was a good race for us. Yeah. We ended up in the finals there with Kai again, back to back. Who the fuck seen that coming? You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
What the fuck? But boom, there we were. And, man, I can't really, shit. Friday night, we showed up there. We had a good race. The car left really good. And then we had number 5 injector stick open. It was a pig out back, and the Axeman came around us, put us out of the grade 8. That was my very first grade 8.
Yeah.
Boom. Go out first round there. Raced a really good Saturday and met Kai in the finals. Man, I can't remember exactly what the hell happened there. Anyway, we got after it pretty hard, and the car went real hard left towards the wall. I got out of it. I'll have to go, I should have thought about this a little bit better before I get on here. Shit's a blur, dude.
Well, the thing is, you don't want to give it all away.
Yeah, no. We got TV shows.
Yeah,
you got to watch.
Yeah, you got to watch. Can't give
But anyway. Or you can go anywhere and see it.
Yeah, literally, I wonder why there's a show, but I mean, I know why there is. It's still, you got some diehard fans that are like, I ain't looking at shit on Facebook until this thing comes out. And, God bless y'all.
Yeah. But he outran us there. That's when the talk of me guessing the light was a big deal. I even think some people, was bringing it up there.
Oh, there were clips everywhere. Like, look how, like, even in slow mo, look how good he is. And I was just like, I don't know nothing about racing anyways. I even asked you, and you're like, man, it's just, I don't know if I'm lucky or what's going on.
I'll just say this.
That luck, take that luck to Vegas kind of shit or what. But
between Ohio and Shane pointing it out that I got treed and this, that, and the other, and you see how fucking close the cars run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the racers are boom right there. Like, off the tree and a lot of races can be won and lost right there.
Right.
I made the decision, like, I'm good on a flashlight. Like, I know I am.
Yeah. That's all you've done for the longest time.
Armageddon, Olympies, races, the street show, like everything. I got pretty good on that flashlight deal. And I said between Ohio and Virginia, I'm going to treat this like a flashlight. Like, if I do that, how's it any different? You know what I mean? And it worked out for us.
Yeah.
And everybody thought we had like a fucking delay box and all this shit. I mean, they were open about it in drivers' meetings that this is what was happening.
There is even conspiracy theories in drag racing, folks.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Probably more than anywhere. But make it all the way there. The light was real fast. He still claims to this day that his finger slipped off the button.
Oh.
And it didn't go red. And, he left me sitting in my tracks, left me sitting at the starting line, whatever. Car went hard left. He was already out on me so far, I wasn't going to catch him anyway. So I felt like at Brainerd, what I was getting at Brainerd, I didn't feel as fast as I thought we were at Virginia. I felt like we had the car to win at Virginia. Brainerd, maybe not. Lo and behold, I didn't know how hurt it was at that time. But Joe and Craig did an amazing job keeping it alive through the 5 races. And here's the thing, everybody's like, why didn't you pull it apart? Well, I didn't have the fucking parts to fix it.
No.
For mainly.
Yeah.
So I didn't, we weren't eating spark plugs up. We never did like knock tip off a spark plug or anything, but that motherfucker didn't have any guides in it. All the valves were hitting. It was like, oh shit, we did some damage, but we did it early.
Yeah.
I felt like. So Brainerd, Bowling Green, Epping, all right.
Yeah.
That's all we didn't have 100% hot rod, but we had a fast hot rod.
Still made it. It was, and that's the crazy thing about it is that you knew it was hurt, but it was still competing very well.
We went from Brainerd to Bowling Green.
Yep.
Totally different air. This is the shit that we're learning. Like, we're traveling across the country and we're getting into different air and conditions and everything else.
Altitudes, everything. It's amazing.
The car didn't shift and spun way the fuck up, and I had gears in it that were fast, and it ate that fucking blower. Well, I didn't have an extra blower. I didn't own one. So I started scavenger hunt around the pits.
Yeah.
Found out Scott Taylor has a F3 136. A lot of the guys that are running 136s on their Hemis now are a F4. We still run the F3, which is, significantly smaller.
Right.
He has one. He's not, and I don't blame him at all. Borrowing those things are dangerous. So I had to buy one right there on the spot.
Yep.
Pro Chargers aren't cheap. I bought one on the spot. We threw it on there. Kai waited for me for, I'm not bullshitting you, probably 10 to 15 minutes while his whole crew sat there and told him, let's go.
Let's get the
fuck this guy.
Yep.
Let's go. We got to do shit. We got shit to do. The dude sat there and waited on me, and
you gotta respect a guy that wants a race.
I'm literally in the pits freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because 1, we're not making it. 2, I'm about to lose this round. It's our second grade 8 showing.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna make it. What?
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Not even gonna make it up.
All I gotta do is change a blower. Well, I didn't fucking have one, so I had to go hunt one down first. So anyway, get the blower changed. Mike Bowen comes over and helps us. Me, Craig, Mark. It's just us 3 there. We're thrashing on this fucking thing to make this first round. I get up there and, Kai's waiting. I'll tell you right now, I owe him one. If that dude ever comes up and says, "Hey, I need 15 minutes. I need 20 minutes." Oh, fuck,
Every
I'm
second.
waiting.
You get every second.
You got it, bro. That's the way it goes. So anyway, dude waits on me. We pull up there. After all the talk about lights and all this shit, I'm mentally exhausted. I'm overstimulated.
Yeah.
And I let go early. The light was super long. He went behind me and still let go early himself. Went red. We both went red, but I went red first.
Right.
So that was our second grade 8 showing, and lost again first round.
Yeah.
Had a good Saturday. We made it to semifinals.
Yep.
At Bowling Green. Had a hell of a job. The crew did a hell of a job. Car ran great. We went out to Nate there. Nate's got, like we talked about earlier, Nate's got a fucking fast hot rod. So you can never count that dude out.
Yeah.
Best of the best, everything. So don't get my head down about that. Like
right.
He ended up treeing me there, and I chased him the whole fucking way.
Yeah.
He raced Dave in the finals. So we was on to Epping from there, Epping, New Hampshire. Cool place. Never been up that way. It was so neat. I wish you could have made it for sure.
I know. You were sending me the pictures. I was like, what the hell is this?
Just trying to rub it in.
I was like, what is this? They're like, dude, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
It's cool.
Bowling Green looked pretty cool too.
Bowling Green's gorgeous.
Awesome. Yeah.
And they got a giant ass, like something like Frontier City right beside it.
Yeah, you're like, it's a racetrack that's also
Theme
got
park.
like a Six Flags next to it. And I was like,
Water
what?
park? Yeah.
And then I think someone took a drone, or you sent me someone's drone photo, and I was like, holy shit.
What's crazy is anybody, it's drag racing. It's like, yeah. Everybody knows about this place. I didn't know about shit like this.
Yeah. You're just like, I'm just figuring this out for the first time.
And that's no shit. I mean, I went last year to help Dave,
right.
And so I kind of knew what it was looking like. Never been to Epping. Gorgeous place. We stayed in, me and Bryson and Craig stayed in Boston the night before, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Never been up that way. Let me think here. We draw chips Friday, and get our first round win for grade 8.
Yeah.
And get us 3 points there against Swanstrom. I feel like we were still struggling a little bit on a Friday, getting used to the air. I knew the air was going to be really good there.
Right.
Swanstrom had a hot rod, but he mind fucked himself right out of the gate about us being on the tree so hard, and let go of the button early. And he had the guard to beat us at that point right there. Mine did not make a good pass at all. He just went early, and it cost him. So we get the second round, which would have been against Kai.
Yeah.
Let me think here. Oh, man. Yeah, we made a killer fucking pass against Kai to the 330. But we were still chipping away at what this car wanted. Here's one thing. We never rely on traction control.
Right.
Somehow, some way, some shit got fat-fingered or something. He got into the plot and just fucking started ripping the timing out of it. We had him covered by 2 cars. Damn. And he's texting me. He's going, how the fuck do you make that thing 60 foot so hard? And then that's a huge, compliment coming from him.
Yeah,
He's 60. He's used to out 60 foot everybody.
Yeah.
So, getting into this and having compliments like that and getting to talk to these guys and what they're seeing, their perspective of how we're racing is huge to us. So, we go out second round. So I got me 3 points there. But he knew his ass. He knew we had something for him then, because the first 2 races weren't good for us. You know what I mean? So then we kind of got things rolling. Saturday comes around, and he goes out a little bit early. Gets a little bit out of shape, slaps the wall, no huge damage. I was standing on the big end when that happened on top of Bowman's Doter and watched that go down. And it could have been a lot fucking worse. And he did a damn good job
driving out of it,
saving it as much as he did.
Yeah.
So he was racing Kayla. we had a couple of good rounds. Car was running good. We took out Howe in John Odom's car, that GTR.
Yeah.
First round.
Yep.
Second round. You remember who we raced second round?
Wish I could remember the text. That was the thing. I remember sitting there watching movies and just getting all the updates. And every time you beat somebody, I was like, all right. And then it was like, oh, shit.
Bobby. Bobby, a teammate.
Oh, that's right. You had to race your teammate. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Raced Bobby. It was a good race. And then I think his car went a little bit left. He got out of it. We went on to the third round.
Yeah.
And when right there and then, we got a good dose of racing somebody that's coming into this deal and knowing what that feeling is.
Yes.
I've been the new guy. I've been the guy with nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Per se, up to that point.
Yeah.
But earlier in the day, we do our picks for out of the reserve pool, and Dave picked Paige Coughlin. I think that's her name, right?
Yeah, well, she was in the future class, wasn't she?
They moved her up.
Because y'all didn't have enough drivers.
Right. They moved her up, and she made it to the third round. I mean, she had a hot rod.
Yeah.
That car's fast.
Yeah. That's what
good.
That's what you and I were talking about when she pulled up, and we were standing over there, and I was like, good God. And you're like, dude, do you have any idea what's in that car? Everything you could ever want. Every intricate detail.
Yeah. It's the what's what and who's who of parts and shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, to me at this point, those are scarier races than racing the Kais and the Daves and the Ryans and the people that's been at this forever doing the thing. And she put out, I think, Robin Roberts.
Yes.
Known hot rod. She put him out first round, Doc the second round. So here we go picking her, and I'm like, they're going to swing for it.
Oh, yeah.
We're setting number one in points right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to swing for it. They want to look like, the giant killer here, and it's her first invitational race. So.
But you were like, nah.
Not on my name.
Not on my name.
You ain't making a name off me.
Yeah, when I got that text, I was like, good job. You're like, yeah, you ain't getting this one.
But those are, to me right now, those are the scariest because those people don't have anything to lose.
No.
In perspective, like, she races smart. Her crew's good. And to be honest, when we took off, I've been able to 60 foot. I don't usually see anybody, next to me or whatever. She was right there. She was hanging with us. I could see her front end a little bit. I thought, oh shit, I know those Hemis come on hard.
Yeah,
I know they got a lot of power, and we were still kind of dialing this thing in.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if they didn't put enough out back, whatever. Something happened. She weren't there. We put her out. And even though she's just getting into this thing, it's a big win for us.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's a big name. They've made a big deal out of her getting into this deal. And she's done a good job getting herself up to this point. So, who the hell we draw for that? Oh, we go into semifinals.
Yeah.
So I've made at least every semifinals in the points races up to this point.
Yeah.
Looking back now, we go up, we do our chip draw, and I draw Kayla. I've been around her racing one way or the other forever. Thunder Valley days, Wichita Falls days, everything, and never raced her.
Really? All the way up to this point?
Yeah, all the way to this point.
I'll be damned. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we draw her there. We do the burnout. Feel a hell of a vibration. I've never kicked a rod before.
Yeah.
But I could tell it wasn't the drive line. I knew it wasn't third member. Craig Radio's got oil everywhere. It's motor oil. I started trying to get the fuck out of the way. We kicked a rod in Epping in the semifinals. So that was the end of the night for us. Going right in the break. I literally needed 2 more rounds. I need to get through that one, and then I need to race Giuseppe in the finals, which we had previously beat in Brainerd. So it was a winnable race for us. And those guys have been getting faster and faster. So anyway, kicked a rod there. It ended our night. We left there number 1 in points going into this like fucking 5-week break.
Yeah.
And, we're leaving there and I'm just asking Craig, I was like, can you believe it? Like,
does this feel
does
real?
this feel real?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
all the people in this deal that's been doing it for years, I'm not taking anything away from them at all.
No.
Just like beating Scott Taylor, some of those guys. I mean, it sounds almost like I'm bragging or something sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I've been watching them dudes for years. I was a fan of this show. Me and Bryson's been watching this since day one, like since he was born.
Right. But you can only be, it's the thing you got to look at. Like, I can either, remain just a fan. Mm-hmm. It's just like basketball players. Like, I'm not really a basketball fan, but I got to wonder what it's like for Steph Curry to play.
Yeah, or be out there guarding.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
And then
put your ass out there and guard him,
and then beat him in points and beat him in games, and it's like
beat him in horse.
It's just it's just bound to happen, And that's the thing is like if you can get a little bit of respect from these guys, just being like just saying I've been a fan of yours from day one before I was even doing street shit and stuff,
right.
And now I'm here racing you, and I beat you, and it's like it's like glorifying, humbling. It's so many emotions at once, I'm sure, for someone like you.
The thing beneficial for me at this point and getting into it is I've already been through that with the street show.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people don't take into consideration is I've been through all that shit on the street show.
With the 405 guys.
Yes. And getting into this and racing these, most of them I've raced around in the ma and pa, no preps and shit like that. So racing, let me think of something that's use Paige.
Yeah.
She's coming from the Jags family.
Yeah.
All that shit. As much, I don't want to discredit her in any way. It's just not that big a deal to me anymore. So take all that shit off the plate, and then what we got a drag race. That's it. That's what I love to do. So, coming out of it, number 1 in points is just almost like you're in disbelief, but fuck, here we are. We know we worked our way into this. We know we worked our ass off to get here. We know we had those sleepless nights driving, working, all this shit. And I'm not saying that other crews don't do that or haven't done that in the past, but we're living it right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and, all these people making a big deal out of how we're doing it with the 1 ton and the, what most people use on the street and shit. Mm-hmm. That's how it was for us for day one. The second no prep race I've ever showed up to was Dirty South No Prep that Scott Taylor and Mike Morello put on. Yeah. In Odessa, Texas, and we were the only pickup and trailer there that was that way, and they parked us on the very end, and we made it to the finals, and it was a car that nobody ever heard of. It was a driver that nobody ever heard of. Yep. And by the time, everybody was going to all those pit areas, Birdman was a big name. We put him out in second round. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this shit before, but this isn't anything new to us at all. No. So we're just kind of laughing about the thing, but it is pretty wild to be in the position that we're in as early as we are. Getting into this deal. And you look at all the guys that have invested so much into this as far as money, time, resources, everything else. And we're doing it with the same car. Yep. Pretty much the same combination, just bigger and better. But it's worth it. Between me and Craig, it's a brotherhood. It's dedication.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just the fact that it's weird because you have crews that are discussing all this, like, all right, we got to make this trip, we got to make this race and stuff. When I call you, I'm like, so what's your plan? Like, I don't know, me and Craig are talking about it. I'm like,
every time.
It's just you and Craig.
Every time.
Yeah, because
right now, Idaho, I don't know how, what is today? Today's 16th, Saturday.
I don't even know, dude.
So next weekend,
next
Friday is Idaho. I don't fucking know how we're going to do it. Yeah. I honestly don't. We worked on the trailer all day today. Mm-hmm. People make a big deal of us coming. We just got. I've seen where we come into Tulsa on an open trailer for attention and everything else.
Yeah.
You've seen the trailer.
We were dicking around with that when we were making the other video about that. You're like, I might just open trailer this son of a bitch. And I was like, why? And you're like, because this trailer's fucked.
Yes. So Dave's trailer's a 2019. You have to think of all the miles he's put on it since 2019.
Yeah.
And abuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yep. It has not been treated the best.
Nah.
He's on the go all the time. Plus, I have been too since I started using it.
Right.
When I wrecked the car, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I wrecked the car back to back on the shutdown.
Yeah.
I had to sell my 32 footer to come up with the money to fix the car.
Yeah.
And then I borrowed a trailer from somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And it got me to the point where the car was running good again.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck, I want to do some MPKs or this or that. And Dave was cool enough, good to me, let me use his street trailer that he wasn't using.
Yeah.
So that's how I acquired that. But every time we take that thing somewhere, it gets a little worse, and a little worse, and a little worse. And the floor is like buckling out of it, So I worked on the trailer all day today to get the floor in some sort of condition that we can make it to Idaho and back. I had my cousin that ran Cimarron trailers here in town for 20-something years come over and show me what he would do to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty common problem.
Yes.
Just fucking miles, and over time, this is what happens to these things. They're not, So anyway, we worked on it all day today, but there was no publicity stunt. It was no cry for attention or anything. Custom Trailer Sales, I made a deal with them a while back on an open trailer to haul Sedusa.
Yeah.
To haul Sedusa around on to do, appearances and races and shit on an open trailer because I don't need an enclosed for it.
Nah.
And to be honest, we can drive that thing anywhere. But if we go somewhere and race and it breaks, I'm fucked.
You don't want to drive something that you're going to race.
So
that's just bad juju.
I did a deal with them, and then it turned into a better thing where we started talking about an enclosed trailer for Rogue. Jay bought Custom Trailer Sales from Frank a while back, and he wants to kind of steer it in a different direction with the enclosed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's got some good manufacturers behind him. And I think in January, we ordered a trailer. Mm-hmm. For one thing or another, it's kind of gotten pushed back.
Yeah.
And we thought we would have it in June. And, here we are in August now.
Yeah.
And it should be showing up anytime now.
Yeah.
But it ain't here yet.
Yeah.
And I ran Dave's trailer for so long, and it's had so much abuse that I was really kind of sketched out to put Rogue in it to make the haul. So we threw like fucking tents in it. We threw the apparel up front, put the smart car in the very back.
Yeah.
And everything looked good, strapped down and stuff. It wasn't hauling my car. And we threw it on the open trailer, So it's 2.5 hours.
Tulsa, man. It's 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Ain't gonna hurt that car.
Sky looked good.
Oh yeah.
So, but
it looked damn good pulling in.
For the OG fans of this, if I think Chief and Sean took their cars to either Georgia or they took them to California to race. They either took them to Georgia Fuel Tech or California to race them, and they ran into a rainstorm. The original Crow and the OG Murder Nova, they hit a rainstorm, and I'm pretty sure it fucked both cars up.
Yeah,
because
fried
so
the
much
whole
rain got
electrical system.
I know some stuff got fucked up, but I'm pretty sure a lot got fucked up. And skies look good, weather looked good. I was like, fuck it, let's throw it on open trailer, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's why I had my enclosed, was for all the apparel, tents, just ice chest, shit like that.
Yeah, because the comments were, he unloaded. He unloaded off of the trailer right next to a giant enclosed trailer, and then all the fans were like, "Dude, the trailer's messed up," and like, yeah, it's a publicity stunt. So it's just that's the internet we live in. Yeah. The internet is no matter what you do.
I replied 2 or 3 times and thought, fuck it.
Like,
from there.
don't feed. I know how many times I've had to tell this guy because he'll send me a screenshot like, "What's this dude's problem?" I'm like, "He's a troll.
Yeah.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah.
Just leave him alone."
Jim Howe's got some good trolls. That's Sean Presley or whatever.
Wow.
I mean, he is just a straight. Him and that Ryan something Farah. Fuck. I
Yeah,
don't know,
they're
fuck
good.
boy.
They're good, but man, I don't think
They're not.
I don't think
they're
they
not
have
even good trolls. They just want to downgrade everything.
Yeah. And the thing is like, it's funny, you know, if you got some stuff to comment, you can make some cute memes here and there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but you guys ain't got shit on what I've got in the chamber. I've got so much stuff on my phone, so if you want the smoke, just let me know, and I'll post some. I'll post some stuff that'll make you laugh.
It's suicide. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I can have a thought of what this would be fun. And then he takes it to a whole new level, and it's just like
Damon will send me something. I'm like, I got an
post
idea.
that shit.
He's like, yeah. And I'll say, what do you think? You're like, you post that right now. So that how thing, you know, I mean, it kind of got. I don't necessarily think it got out of hand. It was just from every angle. It just every racer, everyone else was just kind of like,
if you think about it,
I don't know where he's going with this.
Yeah, not too many racers got involved with it.
Yeah,
there was a few name drops here and there.
Yeah.
Lutz and Reaper mainly. Well,
yeah.
To be honest, I'm pretty close with those guys.
Yeah.
And even Hal put a screenshot out there of him talking to Lutz.
Yeah.
And it's him reaching out to Lutz.
Yeah.
And Lutz replying.
Yeah.
And that's all it was.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, they're not going to do anything about it. Well, they're not going to do anything about it. For one, he told everybody it was a 8-bolt flange for the main cap.
Yeah.
Well, it's still a 4-bolt, just like Chevrolet factory.
Right.
But it's got 2 on the side and 2 on the top. Instead of like 4 and 4, like he was trying to make it out. He's just fucking putting stuff out there. It's misleading and stuff. Yeah. But anyway,
fake news.
Yeah, it's fake news. Yeah.
And you know,
it's discrediting.
It is discrediting, but then it was like, I think we got to a point to where I was like, we could have fun with this.
Oh yeah.
And we did that. We did the news report. We did the Mythbusters rebuttal, and then after that, I was like, "That's too time consuming. Let's just make clips." And then we did like the Joe Dirt one and all that stuff, and it caught on fire, man.
A lot of people's had a lot of good time with it, but for no more time than I've got between work and family and racing and all that,
I got time for that shit.
Got time for that
You
shit.
ain't got time for that shit.
But what was the best is we showed up to Tulsa, and we won grade 8. Friday night. Like we showed up an hour before so for y'all that don't know, they want invitational guys pretty much parked Thursday. Like, I mean, get you guys in there, get you out of the fucking way. That way everybody coming in Friday has a clear shot to go to the back and go park and all that. And it's cool. Well, we didn't have things quite ready, so we showed up about an hour before the gates opened on Friday. Dude. We had a third member to change. So we roll in, hour before the gates open, throw a third member in it. The team was all over it, Mark Craig. We had a lot of local hands on deck. I'll say that.
Ellick guys.
Whether they were drinking and supporting or really throwing down and getting in there with us, but we got a game plan, kind of how we do things and whatnot. And a kind of a big surprise to me. Yeah. I invite him all the time, but Gerald showed up.
Yes.
From Brand Racing Engines. He built my engines. I think a lot of things have been brought up about my engine combination that intrigued him. We've been winning with it. Like, it's been performing very well. I think he wanted to see.
It's kind of your baby, man. You want to go see it. You want to go see it work.
Mm-hmm. So he made the trip up Saturday.
Yep.
But going back to Friday, we showed up, threw a third member in it. We had really no data with it at all. It's a different gear, but we kind of felt like it needed it. Mm-hmm. Made our test hit against Bodie, ran really good. Jumped into first round of grade 8. Took out Caleb Morton first round. Who do we race second round? Nate Saylor.
Yeah.
Saylor.
Yeah.
We talked about him earlier.
Car's fucking fast.
Fucking fast.
Yeah.
took him out, and I thought, but it made a really good run against him from when it made a run against Caleb. But we've been trying to do a few things. I talked about earlier that we heard it early in the season, and we were trying to learn from that. We hadn't had a lot of testing time, so we've been trying a few things.
Yeah.
I took the data that we had from Bodie and Kayla, jumped right into Nate's. It made a killer pass, and it took us right into the finals with Kai.
Yeah.
And we talked about I hadn't had great luck against Kai in the first few races. Ended up meeting him in the finals at Tulsa and winning that deal.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal for us, not only to establish ourselves into the grade 8 as a contender, but to get that monkey off our back that, we couldn't get around Kai because it's always been something.
Yeah.
I had a really good.
It was just a damn good race.
It was just a damn good race.
Damn good race.
We got out on him and stayed out on him. He came over to pits, kind of told us what issues he had a little bit, or what, whatever the case may be. But long story short, we were due a good Friday night. It kind of took me back to my roots of with everybody being there from my hometown. It's 3 hours away. Everybody showing up, you being there, my core crew being there, and then all these guys from Ellick and Chickasha and everything else.
Because back in the day, you just had like the Cox City mud races, you had the Ellick mud races, and that was all the same guys. And now they're coming here to Tulsa to watch this kid who's now on TV, who's racing with some. I mean, there ain't no chumps out here that you're racing with. And the thing is, just like you, if they were fans of Street Outlaws, they were watching this shit on TV.
There's a lot of gearheads around here.
My buddy Damon, Roger's son, hell, he's out there racing with Murder Nova and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's something that they hold prideful to, and they should, man. And the fact that I
hear a lot of
even after all that, like when Ninakaw had the car show, you got Dumpling, you got your badass 80-year-old uncle just jumped in there with you and hauled ass over there on a 100-degree day, and you're over there sitting on a sidewalk under some canopies with Boat Right and all those guys just hanging out, and it's like that's where you're at. Your heart's at.
Yeah. You see the guys out there in the pits, and you see the guys out there on the show and stuff. You look at them and go, would they really be doing this if there wasn't cameras around?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think people know. They know I would be. You know what I mean?
Like, well, it's just like the other day on Facebook, when we were posting some shit and some lady commented a video, you were sitting in the stands, didn't know you were being recorded from the back.
Did not.
And, at first I was like, was he rooting for Kai or Robin?
To be honest, I'd probably root for Kai any other time.
Yeah, but it was Robin. But
he put us out the round before, so he got 10 points up on us. We came into the race 30 points ahead of him. 3 rounds.
You don't want to get them extra points on you.
Yeah. So I went red against him Saturday, and so there he was 10.
Yeah, but
I needed him to go out that next round.
But that's my point. Is like it's not just stuff like that, but it's also the fan interactions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dude, just like when, you were out there, and I didn't know at this time. I was like, hey, get out there and, throw some T-shirts, get the can out. You're like, I did this shit before. It's fun. And but you could really tell.
I'm a little reserved.
Yeah,
I
know.
I love people, and I love interacting with them and stuff, but it takes that, hey, Damon, this, that, and the other. And it nudges me right
That's why I made that post. Like, he's too humble to admit it, but he kind of likes being a rock star. It's fun. I mean, you got people cheering your name and shit.
It's weird, man. It's just weird.
It goes back to anybody who's been famous. There's some people that fall right into it, and then there's some people that are like, movie stars like, I got my face tattooed on some dude's fucking leg. Like, what happened? I was just a normal guy at one time, and now I've got this shit to think about. You've got the same way. You got people screaming your name, throw me a shirt, hang out with. They want to come to your pits and take a picture.
Like I love
watching. I love capturing it. That's my favorite part about it, is the fact that everybody they want a photo with you, just to say that they met you, and it's like,
I get that.
It's just
because
Damon,
I'll tell you this: the one thing that gets me, damn near choke me up, seeing the starting line. When we race and we win a race, just say Friday night when we raced in the finals.
Yeah.
And I see my mom's reaction, Lacey's, Craig's.
Like your dad's got me because if you watch that video, I came up and I like gave you a high five because you're like, holy shit, this really happened. And
I was about to lose it.
Yeah, I know. I gave you a high five, and your dad walked over. And if you watch the video, it's a long hug, lots of pats on the backs, and you couldn't hear in the audio. You'll probably hear it on the show, but I heard it. And Roger was like, "I am so proud of you." And I was like, whoo. Like, I took a step back, was like, okay, man.
Tears falling. Yeah. Like, I could tell. I know when he's crying.
Yeah, like, yeah. Roger's kind of one of those guys. I mean, he's an oak tree. I mean, damn sure an oak. But, you know, that moment's like, it doesn't matter how hard you are. You watch your son bust his ass to get to that point, and it finally happens. And he can't, and he just couldn't hold it. And I don't blame him. Shit. I'm just one of your good friends. And I was so proud of you. I was like, fuck, I got to get out of these cameras.
Yeah. I've been racing an auto. I did some like dirt bike shit when I was younger. Yeah. But I've been racing. He's had me a tough truck since me and Mom shared a tough truck while he did the mud bog drag deal. But we had what the fuck was it? A Jeep Honcho. Yeah. And we shared it to do tough truck since I was 13.
And in case y'all missed that, he just said him and his mother
my mom
shared a tough truck.
And I'll tell you this, we usually end up in first and second. Yeah. One way or the other. Yeah. We usually end up first, second.
I mean, you hear father-son stuff, but you don't hear like mother-son racing. Like, that's pretty bad.
And Dad did a pretty good job, you know, collecting a lot of trophies in the mud bog side of it. And we did the tough truck deal. Right. So since I was 13, we kind of did that, and it wasn't nothing like spectacular. We was just driving,
having fun.
Yeah, having fun. It was a blast, dude.
I saw the home movies. They looked killer.
So to like lead into something that's as big as this, that's a brand, a sport, everything else, like I'm sure it did hit him hard.
Oh, yeah. It hit everybody hard. I mean, thing is, the cameras were rolling, but there's so many people in the shadows in the back that were probably shedding a tear for you. And you know, there's going to be a watch party for this shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be rough. It's going to be, I mean, it's going to be joysome, but it's going to be rough because there's going to be so many people in there that believed in you from day one, knew you had it in you, and then go, I fucking knew it, you know. But you're too humble to say, "Oh yeah, I thought I had it too." No, you felt it, you wanted it, but you had to work to get there. And it's one of those things when you achieve something like that, you don't know what to do with it. Yeah. It's kind of like like you said.
I didn't know where to go. We talked
about this at one time when you were like, I didn't know what to do with. You know, I'm not rich, but I'm not broke. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't know what to do when I earned my way to a position to where I was making good money. Yeah. Like you said, you know, your dad joked about it. Like when we were in that little discussion where I was like, was that why you got all buff? Because you were tired of people taking your lunch money? His dad goes, he didn't have any lunch money. He had to come home and eat bologna sandwiches for lunch. So it's like, you know, you went from that being, you know,
I was like pretty competing. Broke. Yeah. Like competing has been the main thing for me since ever. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
So to achieve that goal, it's just.
And motorsports have been something because my dad was always kind of the local hot rod guy. Mm-hmm. So it kind of just all fell in. Yeah. So I did, you know, he was never a sports guy. Yeah. But I loved football because it was competitive. Yeah.
But he supported you through all that anyways.
Yeah, for sure. And then anything motorsports I could get into, which we didn't like do junior dragsters or none of that. I don't think I started drag racing until I was like 16, 17 in my like fucking 15-second pickup. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to know how far this is like came along, that's the main thing. That where it's like, holy shit, here we are. You know what I mean? Like we're fucking doing it. You know what I mean? And to be fans of the show, like I said, me and Bryson, like Bryson's 10,
you don't ever lose. That's the greatest thing is like, you know, we made this joke and I was waiting for something waiting for you or someone to comment on it. It was kind of like when we posted the picture of Damon's mom with the Justin Swanstrom hat.
Oh, yeah.
And, and it was funny, but, Damon always says, like, when we were talking about wearing other people's merch and shit, he's like, do you know how many fucking Fireball T-shirts my son owns?
Yeah, because he hangs out over there all the time. Because it's like,
they're both of y'all's sons are good friends, too.
Yeah.
For one, but two, it's
him and
just...
Dax are boys, yeah.
It's kind of like one of those deals like, yeah, Dad, I know you're on the show, but... I love Ryan.
And he's always got a lot of cool kid shit.
Yeah.
Like cool stuff. And they always hook Bryson up. So all the time he's wearing stuff, and I'm like, I get it.
Imagine what that feels like for your kid, though, to watch a show, and then one day your dad's on it.
Yeah.
That's fucking unreal. I mean, I can't even put myself in his shoes to know what that's like to go to school and be like, man, I was watching this shit when I was a little kid. I'm still little.
Day one.
But I mean, Ryan Martin was like my fave. Like he was badass.
I'll tell you what his favorite was, and I've said it several times, like I sent him shit all the time. When he was little bitty, I sent him stuff from, if I run past it, Dominator.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
dude.
Oh, yeah. Dom was the man.
How can you not?
The first PRI I ever went to was like 2017 or some shit.
Yeah.
And I went to go do, just look at things and whatnot. And he was signing shit in the VP booth or something like that. And I happened to know somebody that knew him.
Yeah.
Reached over and grabbed one, and I took it back to Bryson. Well, he's like holding it. He's probably fucking 4 or some shit. He's holding this fucking VP signed deal, and it's got him on TV. It's got Dominator on TV. Bryson's tiny.
Yeah.
Well, I ran past it in my pictures the other day, and I was like fan from day one, dude. And I sent it to him. He's like, he loves Bryson.
Well, and I've got pictures of him from the street show. One of my favorites is like, it's a black and white photo. And up until this point, I didn't realize like how good you were in with Dom at the time. But like he's got Bryson around his arm, and he's like got his hand out like he's trying to tell something, and Bryson's just
amazement,
gleaming at him. And I'm like, and he's just smiling from ear to ear too. But I was just like, and I sent you that photo, and you were like, dude, you have no idea. Like he lives, eats, and breathes this shit.
Oh yeah.
And now his dad's on it. Like how can you do any better than this?
And what was tough before?
Have him be his heroes. Yeah.
What was tough before was to be on it and take him on lumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then him. He don't remember the night, the nights that I raced or whatever. I came home and told him about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get home, or we watch it at home 6 months later.
Yeah.
And he's like, he'll start crying.
Yeah. Well, but that's a good thing
we get
too.
Beat or something.
But it's thing because he's watching you grow.
Oh yeah.
He's watching you grow on the show for one. And yeah, I could totally see that. It was probably the same way, like, just like we're talking about the NBA. Like some kid cries just watching some dude getting dunked on. Yeah. And I was like, that's my dad. Like, he's trying so hard, but he can't fucking beat these guys.
Or some guy's kid that watches from the UFC or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, watches the ass
WWF. Remember when they would pan over to the families, the mom and kids are bawling because Mankind's getting his ass thrown off of a 40-foot wall.
Almost dying.
Almost dying. Yeah, back in the glory days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
I had to go through that with B.
Yeah.
I had to go through that with B in a public restaurant and stuff like that. I'm like, don't cry. Like,
Wait till
He's
this.
So competitive.
But that's the thing is he's finally get to come out and have some stuff to watch and be like, and even if he's grown past it, it's still gonna be prideful.
Oh yeah, he's very much. Yeah, he's got my competitive, pull and everything. And the way we're running right now and what we're doing and everything. Well, I'm not stupid. It's not gonna last forever.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you've got to capitalize on it when it's good.
Yeah.
You gotta enjoy it while it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta take it in, take the fans in, like I said, the interaction. Now they know who we are. Like, the first few times I showed up with the car, they knew the car from the show, and they might know the car from social media, but they didn't know who I was. Right. Now I can walk out there and they know who we are and whatnot. I'm not big on completely putting myself out there and everything else, but I'm trying to get better at it. But this was really kind of the first race that you've been to that you see me do some fan interaction and whatnot, and that's probably one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
in the pits, I like doing it. I love doing it and meeting the people.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit different when you're out on the track and you're getting the.
Oh, when you jumped over the barriers and they were like, "Hey, will you sign?" And you're like, it was just like a chain link fence. And like one lady was like, she's like, "Sign my leg." Like
sign
that's all I had. Yeah, she's like, "All right, sign your thigh." Like, I mean, but it's to me, it's like I'm just getting content.
Yeah.
But at the same time, every time I put the camera down, I'm just looking at it like, holy shit.
Yeah, these people are real.
Yeah. And the crazy thing was, like, a handful of people who follow Rogue know who I am just because of following you.
Oh, yeah.
And so when we're out there and like, I'm throwing T-shirts to you, like while you're out there, and someone's like, "Dean, chunk me one." I'm like,
wait, what?
Who are you? Like, here you go. Thanks. But I was like,
that's the funny thing is like your name's Russell.
Yeah.
And you answer Russell and you get Dean all the time. But I find myself calling you Dean sometimes.
Well, the funny thing is like,
I've never called you Dean.
Me and Mallory Elizabeth were having a little Facebook back and forth discussion and stuff, and for those that don't know, she's posted about it.
Our pictures are great.
She's great photography, and she's not going to be able to make the next few races because she's being a trooper battling some bad health issues, but she's getting on top of it. She's very open and vocal about it, and she's out there kicking ass doing it anyways.
Right.
Out there going through treatments and busting ass. But I made the comment that, Russell has to work so Dean can go do photography. I'm going to miss the next race because Russell's falling behind.
That's why we work so well together, because we have the same outlook on things.
It's like Dean is this persona guy. Russell has to pay the bills. Just like Rogue wants to race all the time, but Damon's like, can we afford it?
Yeah.
But I think that's why we've meshed so good. But
and to be honest, to that point, like, when they announced Las Vegas, I was excited. My initial thought was, fuck yeah. Like, I've wanted to race there so bad. They have like streetcar nationals there. Yeah. I've always wanted to race and stuff. It's 4 wide, which is really cool. No other place does that. So excited. Then I looked at the date and I go, holy shit, that's right after Colorado. That puts 8 races
in a row.
Do you know how fucking savage that's going to be? Not only on your personnel, but your cars, your toters, your trailers, or what the fuck ever. I mean, I feel like I've got a blessing coming because I do have that other trailer coming, and then we can start running out of it, and it's brand new and fresh, so I ain't got to worry about that, hopefully. That's going to be a huge attribute to us. It's going to be a huge thing. But I got to figure out how the fuck to do 8 in a row, and I'm not sure how the hell I'm going to do it. So to be honest, I got to look and see which ones are feasible for us, which ones that make sense for us, logistically, budget, everything. Like, it's gonna be fucking tough, and I don't know if I need to start now or go into those East Coast ones when they go back to the East Coast. I don't know how the fuck we're gonna do it, to be honest. And to be sitting in the position that we're in now really sucks, because it sucks to let go of that position just because you're not gonna show up. But you gotta be smart about it too, and
you can't bankrupt yourself.
No.
I mean, the thing is, like, some people say, like, I'd rather bankrupt myself on a dream. Well, true, but
are you really willing to do it?
You have a wife, willing to do it? 3 kids, huge responsibilities, and it's just like anything else. Like, I'm in the same boat you are. I will only suffer myself so far. I'll suffer myself to the end, but as soon as it cuts in on my family, I can't do it. I can't. It's too much.
The thing is,
too much.
Look where I started and how much the car's progressed. You know how much money that's cost for the car to progress from what it started out to be to what it is today. And not only that, they had us bring in other cars to do the street show.
Yeah.
So, I didn't do a lot to Dumpling.
No.
And to be honest, I thought he was going to get our fucking teeth kicked in with it. But to be 100% honest with it, it was slower than everything else. I got good picks. The guys helped me get good picks, and we had some wins with it.
Yeah.
We had to get the Mustang together and capable of competing because I wanted to be a winning competitive car. So we put ourselves into that position. I paid for all that. Us in South 40, me in South 40. Put ourselves in the position that we could be competitive, and then for us to not do the street show this year, as to something I thought I would be a part of as a cast member, and then roll into MPK, which is where all this is kind of going and showing to go and all that stuff. Like, I'm not a paid cast member.
No.
And it's fucking hard when you know that you're going to all these things and you're not going to get, even reimbursed.
No.
In what's going on.
People get the wrong idea about that too.
They really do. But and also people also talk about how they're cast members and they're all this shit just to sound cool.
Yeah.
And they're not even fucking, you know what I mean?
I'm a street outlaw.
Yes.
Like, well, you've been on camera for a few races.
Yeah. Show me those check stubs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same with me. Like, I get to say, and I try to make sure everyone knows that. They're all like, oh, man, it must be. I'm like, look, I was invited to work on, and when I say work, literally in parentheses, I am there for fun.
Yeah.
I am not making any money. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As well as I do. I am too.
And that's what made me realize, like, I better jump all over this. And I've had a fucking ball doing it, but it's just like, I mean, it is what it is.
The thing is, when you look at it as far as financial, it's just like people asking, how much do you have in that car? I get asked that often, and which is weird. But I'm like,
last 6 months or from day one?
From day one. How much you got in the car?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how much you got in the car? Like, from the time I bought it or like the last year?
I don't keep up. I don't keep track of that shit. Yeah, and the reason is because I love this sport.
Mm-hmm.
And this show has dimmed the light on the people that love. Well, I can't say the show has. I shouldn't say the show has. There's been people come in that's dimmed the light on that because they want to be part of the camera. They want to be part of the TV and shit like that. And so it doesn't make sense to people that watch it and see the people that love it. Yeah. And do it because they love it. And that's kind of the category I fall into. And they go, fuck, why would you put all your money into this? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Well, at the end of the day, it's because I fucking love to race.
I love to race.
These are the people that I watched growing up racing. I didn't watch NHRA. I didn't watch all this shit. I watched Sean and Chief and Dave and Chuck and all those. I watched those guys. I knew who they were. I didn't know who all these other knuckleheads on TV and shit were. No. Some names ring a bell. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, they're like, oh, you don't know this guy, pro mod racer and all that? No, I didn't. Oh, really? Like, he wasn't behind Classic Chevrolet racing, the nights that we were there. He wasn't in front of B&R racing and all that shit. I don't know those guys.
The first time you hear someone, he's a millionaire that decided to get into racing, it's like, it's like
red flag.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone has I'm sure it happens. You go out there, you bust your ass, you make, even if you're a self-made millionaire, and then you find out, like, fuck, I've got nothing left to do. I want to race cars.
Oh, I can do it on TV?
I can do it on TV.
What?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I told you just a long time ago, I was worried about that. I was like, I wonder if it's going to get to a point to where, they're filming just
and
people who have money. And it's like,
it's gotten to that point.
Yeah.
Look at the pits.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, even those guys, you can tell the ones that love it and that don't.
That's why I say I'm not dogging it, because if a guy has a passion but just has all the money in the world to throw at it, then cool. But there are some out there that don't have it, that like wish they had more. They have to work for sponsors. They have to work to get there.
I mean, I
feel like they appreciate it more.
I'll tell you this: we've brought his name a couple times. I'll throw two out there that I know is like that. Robin Roberts.
Yeah.
He is a self-made man. Mm-hmm. He's done his fair share of racing at any level that he had to get to this point.
Yeah.
And he does it because he loves it.
He seems genuine.
Does he got money? Absolutely. Does he still race because he loves it? Absolutely. Well, Nate, my teammate.
Yeah.
You can tell that dude's got money.
Yeah.
But does he do this because he has money? I don't think so. Does he do it because he loves it? I think so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's there's other ones that don't, you know? I mean.
Well, and Robert Roberts is a testament too, because didn't he have like a really, really, really bad wreck like last year or something?
A pretty solid wreck, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, what? But if you didn't love it, would you get back up on the horse and ride it?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you have something that looks like, oh shit, I really dodged a bullet, like, do you keep dodging bullets or you call it quits? No. And Robin didn't. No. So it's like,
he fixed the shit and rolled on.
So that's respect right there. Like, I'm gonna keep doing it. Like you could have died. Like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing.
And I've kind of wondered about people before, but when you see adversity like that, you get a different perspective on people. When you talk to them in person, and that's kind of something I've kind of gotten into. Like, I really try to feel people out and see what the fuck they're there for. I know what I'm there for. You know what I mean? Like, so you feel people out and you go, this dude's real or whatever. You know what I mean?
You brought it up the best just with the Kai Kelly deal. Y'all started off real rocky. Like, he can't test here. And now everyone's like, I love the Kai Kelly, Damon Merchant bromance. I'm like,
and if that motherfucker needed me to do something right now, I'd probably end up doing it because that's kind of how it's ended up. Like,
remember we talked about high school rivalry? Like, that's the only thing keep you. And then you get out in the real world and you're like, shit, we hated each other for 4 years and we would have been best friends because we're so much alike. That's kind of like you and Kyle. Like, it's kind of a rivalry. Then you sit down in the pits and bullshit and you're like, we got a lot more in common.
I think he made a meme and didn't want to post it because he was like, man, I really like that dude. I don't want to put that out there.
And I was like, hey, what I got? Like, oh, you post that shit.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
No. I found myself liking that dude a lot more than I fucking thought I would. But yeah, going back way further. Yeah. When we went to our first night of street racing with these guys, I thought there's two people I'm not gonna fucking probably get along with. Yeah. And it was Chuck and Dave. And those were the two first motherfuckers I got along with.
That's really crazy.
Yeah. It's just because how you look at them on TV. Yeah. And how it kind of portrays them. Not saying that portrays them wrong, but you might just have the wrong idea.
And I think you even said something about like Kamikaze was one of the first ones that like Chris was super, wasn't he? You said he was just super laid back.
Oh, he's the most down to earth dude. I mean,
he asked me to ride in his car with him. Yeah. Remember we were in Elk City?
Great.
He's like, where you going? I'm like, I was just going to take my tricks. You want to ride me? I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, Damon, I'm grabbing my camera bag.
It fucking sucks that he's not doing MPK this year. Like, this is the one year he don't do it, and I'm on it. And me and him talk back and forth. Like, you know, he sends me, supportive, messages and stuff, and I appreciate that.
He seems like a good shit. Like, really.
That's the thing. Like, I think Chief said a long time ago, like, real recognizes real. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I don't think he's doing that for fucking Odom or anybody. You know what I mean? He don't give a fuck. No. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna. And it's just because he just knows that they're not there for the right reason and shit. Or whoever.
You can see it by their demeanor too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just the way you can read it in the fan comments and the way they talk to people. It's like, it's like he seems cool on TV or she seems cool on TV. And then you go to their pits to get an autograph, and they're just throwing you in and out like cattle.
I'll tell you what, like, just watch them. Yeah, just watch their real nature from a distance, and you'll fucking get a real good reading on people. Quickly. It's not always easy. Like, so especially when I get my fucking ass kicked in the pits, and it's just me and Craig. Yep. Maybe we have Mark there, which is always great. Like. But sometimes we don't have them there, and it's just we're getting our fucking asses kicked. And I hate to think that I would get a review from somebody that came by when I'm getting my goddamn ass kicked by the car.
You would think that, but then you see the comments. Like, I read through some one time because I know that you get busy and we read through them together at times, but there was one comment I remember, I can't remember what it was, but they were like, I have so much respect for you because like I waited to get an autograph for like an hour. And the reason I waited is because I looked in your pits and you're running a goddamn skeleton crew. And they're like, I don't know how you do it. They said, but I sat there and watched, and then when you got done, you wiped your hands off. You're like, hey, man, what can I do for you? And I was like, because I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it when you've been changing stuff out, and I've had to go, he'll be here in just a minute.
I'm worried I'm going to ruin shit.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's just, that guy probably sat there and watched you fix your car, come sign his autograph, get changed, then hook up and get to the line. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's where that respect comes from, because they realize, damn, this guy's got so much on his plate. Yeah. And he's still making time to come, sign an autograph for my son or me or whatever.
Part of that I put into that is like watching Dave do shit. Like Dave's got a pretty good crew, and I try to help him all I can and stuff so he can go do things like that. But I learned that it's okay to make them wait when you're doing something. You know what I mean? Like, because my natural instinct was to fucking drop everything and go sign something. But then you got 10 people waiting. You know what I mean? And I've watched this steadily progress. And going with Dave last year to help him, I seen that kind of stuff, because I seen him sign one autograph and it fucking turns into 10, 20, whatever. You know what I mean? He's like, you're going to start something, and I can't do that right now. Yeah. I got 100 people waiting on me back at the pit. So
we're in steel.
To know that that's okay.
Yeah.
So, because usually I'd feel, fuck, I gotta sign this. And then it starts all this shit, and I don't get nothing done on the car.
He was actually pretty, I think he's kind of gotten to a point like he knows how to do it so well, because when we were in steel, it was that way. Like he was like, hey,
he's good at it.
Because he was like, hey man, can you was looking at me and said, can you go grab some chicken sandwiches and stuff? Like, yeah, sure. He gave me some money.
Or go wait at the back of the line.
I went and got it, and when I came back, I said, hey David, I said, okay, cool. And he's like, sign a couple more, and he goes, all right guys, 10-minute break, be right back. And he just bolted. Like he didn't say sorry. Not like he didn't have to anyway. It's like he came in, scarfed down some sandwiches, looked at some data, and then went back to it in about a half hour.
We love the fans. Yeah. All in all, love the fans.
Just can't please everybody.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah. But I love the fan interaction.
You realize that shit's going to get harder for you. I mean, the more famous you get, because in case some of y'all don't know, every other comment is the people's champ. You're looking at the guy. I mean, it's no bullshit, dude. Everyone loves to brag on Damon about being the regular dudes. Even if someone's like, oh, he's got money, they're like, yeah, I'm not as much as y'all.
I got just enough to fucking make this work. As much as it is.
I've got just enough to be fucking broke from this.
That ain't no shit. Like, I gave my word to Lacey. Yeah. First of the year, like, let's fucking hit it hard. Let's try this MPK thing. Like, we've done the street show and we've done the street races and all that stuff. Let's try it. See where we end up.
Oh, and God bless her. That's a strong woman. You got a strong woman. You've got really, really strong kids, especially Logan, because she's been showing up to a lot of these here lately.
Her and Bryson come.
Yeah, her and Bryson come
to a few.
Logan's cool. She's pretty laid back about it. She likes to. I've noticed here lately, she likes to talk a little shit. I'll say something like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Boy, don't worry about me." I'm like, "She's cool. She's cool." And
they've been a little more interactive on social media, which I gotta kind of snuff. Like, they gotta chill out on that stuff.
Hey, as soon as Bryson got a Facebook, I was like, "Oh no!" Oh, they're gonna do it for you.
The problem is I'm not a shit talker, and never have been. Nah. I'm not good at it. Nah. And then they get on there and they're way better at it than I am. But then I'm like, I start getting protective. Yeah.
But you also have to realize, if anyone's smart enough to just click on their profile and go, oh shit, they're a kid. Never mind.
Yeah, he's 12 years old.
Yeah, he's 12 years old. She's 14.
But he's good at shit talking, so that makes it like really weird, because he's like, he just roasts somebody, and I'm like,
that's so strange too, because like he's a good shit talker, but like every time I see him, he comes up and he always gives me like a big hug.
oh yeah,
He's
nice.
such a sweetheart.
He's good
But
shit.
it's just like he'll turn around and get on Facebook and like just write some
Dog somebody.
dog someone down.
I mean, no different than you.
No, I'm pretty cool, but I mean,
You're super laid back, super nice,
You get
but
me
you will
riled
talk.
up, man. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to go World War III on your ass. I'll have some fun with it.
Actually, I think they crammed the mic in my face at Tulsa.
Who?
Maybe Boosted or something.
Oh, Boosted.
I was probably thinking of something slick. I was gonna say something slick or something, but I'm like, I want them to realize that I'm not doing all that shit talking on road apology. Like, I suck at it. Like, I just want to race.
I was telling Richard.
I come to race and kick ass.
Yeah,
and, I'm
yeah.
not around.
Well, like Richard Rowe was like, "You got to do this," and I'm like, "Man," he's like, I said, "Here's the thing, man." I said, "Damon is Dave Chappelle, but I'm Neil Brennan. I'm the white guy in the back that's writing all the jokes for him and shit." He's oh, that's cool. I was like, no, I was like, and sometimes Damon he'll get like this wild hair up his ass, and he'll be like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" I'm like, oh, that's pretty clever. I said, I'm about to make this shit happen. Yeah. So it's like, that's why we work so good together, is you'll think of something. I'll be like, I can
when something comes out, even like when all that shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
That one night and you brought it to me. I think you did a couple of things, but I didn't post anything.
No, well, you weren't. You were
day.
being genuine about it. You're like, dude, I'm trying to get this car fixed. I don't give a shit about it. I'm like, I know you don't, but dude, this is a good time for us to really fuck around with this and have some fun. And then when I told you my ideas, you're like, all right. And I showed you the videos. You're like, oh, fuck. Yeah, post that. That's going to work.
The thing is, like, I don't mind going back and forth with them.
If it's fun.
Don't like the constant. It's not going to get to me because I don't give a fuck about it that much. But the constant downgrading of our program. That's the problem with it, is like, I know Craig, Lacey, Mark, myself, you, my dad, everybody puts a fuck ton of work into this deal. Like, it's not easy. And, the money and everything else. And to get it, I mean, most people tell everybody, he's a dumb fuck or whatever. They comment over and over and over.
Yeah.
I didn't get into this to give a shit what other people think or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do, like, take pride in everything.
Yeah.
And to have constant, like, degrade. Like, when they, and I'll say this, when they said I was guessing the light or I had something going, that was on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they said the rules were there's a gray area where there was, somebody playing the rules are in black and white.
Yeah.
Okay? And, I talked to the person I trusted that originally wrote the rules and everything else, what they were originally intended for. And then somebody come in to manipulate what it is or whatever, and you name drop and use all these other people as examples and stuff. It's a little degrading to my team, to my people, to my personnel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To my car, everything else. Nowhere in the rules of the state that we can't use a skirted block or something.
Right.
Everything else is big block Chevy. Like, my bearings on both sides, like a fucking 481X, use Hemi bearings on the rods.
Yeah.
Everything I got's big block Chevy in it. Yeah. Like, from the crank to the intake. Everything. So I can only explain that so many times on the internet before I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care. You know what I mean? I've been what do you call it? Tech twice.
Yeah.
To get to where I'm at on weight and stuff, and there's no issue there. And like I said it in, at this point, if there's some sort of hold up or something, or you've got some agenda to make and it's not met yet, then what's going on that's not making it happen? Right. Are you not getting in somebody's pocket that's there? Are you not getting through to them? You know what I mean? Like, because they know it's fucking bullshit.
Yes.
Is what?
Exactly.
The guessing on the light was fucking bullshit. The block being wrong is bullshit. And everything else. It's just he was the guy that's spilling all the allegations was a really high draft pick. Mm-hmm. He did really good last season at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He accused other people of doing wrongdoings and everything else multiple times. Like it's like a fucking ongoing thing for him.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where I don't want to give it any more attention than I really have to, but it gets old.
Yeah.
But we drew him second round Saturday at Tulsa, and we fucked him up again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, they basically rebuilt the engine before that race because they're trying to hang the rods out of that fucking thing to race us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's okay. Like, I don't get caught up in all that. We're going to race our race and do the same shit we're doing round after round. I don't give a fuck who's in the other round, whether it's Kai Kelly or somebody you never heard of before. We're doing the same shit. We're trying to go as fast as we can in the round, that round. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I mean, if they're going to keep doing this to try to get under our skin, it's not going to work. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
We're just going to have fun with it.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with it.
Like I said,
I'm sure they're doing it for publicity.
Ammo in the chamber. So if you want some more smoke, just keep posting shit. We got stuff ready to go.
Yeah, Dean loves this shit.
I'm having fun with
and to be honest, it's fun. And I don't care. You know, I've talked to Jim and stuff. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to be honest,
well, he even commented on one like, that's hilarious. It's like,
yeah.
Okay. I get where we're going with this.
By your tactics.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's like, is this like some sort of, war game on me or like trying to figure out?
I'm not even gonna lie. We talked on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, and some post he'll put, he doesn't, it's not towards me. And it's not that I'm a cheater. It's that the combination isn't right is what he thinks. But in the end of the day, his fight is with the rule committee, which he's a part of.
Yes.
And I have fucking nothing to do with that. And I built that combination. I mean, I built that combination in my head 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And just like when the rules come out this year and everybody said, what are you going to do when the rules come out? Not knowing what I had, but just like, are you going to do what I don't fucking have anything else. This is it,
like,
bro.
I just got, like, that's what I was saying. Like, I got the rules. Here's the new rules. Like, I'm still good.
Yeah, I'm still good.
I don't understand why you're so. And then, like, well, we can't change rules halfway through MPK.
I think the biggest thing that fucking threw them for a loop was the 34.5 tire.
Yeah.
Which they didn't get to use the 36 as a crutch anymore.
Yeah. Right.
And they have,
okay. About that.
Does their cars make hella power? Fuck yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Do they know how to get it down to the track? And I think that's where we've shined. Because we come from the street racing roots. We've come from the fucking ma and pa, no prep races and shit like that. That's what, to me, that's what's setting us apart.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And, okay, is there other guys that are in this, like Kai and them, that do it? Yeah. Have they been doing MPK for a long time? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have they been on a 34.5 tire? No, they've been on 36 forever. Whoa. Dude, I think that
did your thing go out?
My hip foot hit the cylinder. Anyway, malfunction. Do I think it's hindered them in a little bit? Proof is in the pudding. It looks like they're struggling sometimes because they've got all the power in the fucking world to do it with.
Yep.
Are they making it happen? No, and we've been a very, very, very consistent car and team. I'll say that. Round after round, location by location, race by race, we've been so consistent.
Right. That's what I've seen on Facebook a lot. I was like, God damn, Damon's so consistent. Like everything he's been doing. My
job's to be consistent on that light.
Yep.
And, fucking keep the fucking hammer down and not bail on it if it bobbles or, don't overdrive it, but don't do nothing fucking stupid. And, Craig and Mark have a hell of a hand on that car, getting it ready.
Oh, yeah.
Gerald on the engine, Matt, doing his thing of what he's looking at the heads and everything else. And and making them right. Like I said before, there's a lot of R&D type shit.
Yeah.
And really, to be honest, I think a lot of things that are getting brought up right now, they're scared of the potential that the car has.
Yeah.
They know it's overweight. They know it's a new combination. And, you know, like fucking a lot of cars run that F4 136. Well, they get the weight break that I get, but that F4 makes a lot more boost than my F3 does.
Yeah.
But if I could put that in there and make that work with the weight break,
yeah.
Oh,
but I think I remember Craig saying something to me. He's like, everyone's all like, "Oh, I just need more boost." He's like, "Yeah, but if you don't have it, if you don't have the, you know, the whatever you want to call it, I guess the game plan of how it works, or
if you can't make it work,
you know, the mathematics of how it works, boost doesn't matter. If you got, you know, I want so much more boost. Well, yeah, but if you don't have this, and the other, the boost doesn't make any sense." Right. Just like you were saying earlier about mile per hour, kind of don't matter at times.
You can have
everyone wants more boost, wants everything bigger and better, and you're like, and you're out here, and everyone's like, "How are you going to win with that smaller Pro Charger?" And then you beat their ass. And like, what the?
What's funny is boost. You know, PSI boost is a restriction. Yeah. You know, the blower that we run now doesn't show the boost that it shows on other engines and stuff because my heads flow so much. Yeah. And there's no secret to why my heads flow. Like Matt puts it out there. Yeah. So what's funny is, you know, it would be dangerous if we got a bigger blower and better blower and we're stuck, you know, sitting at the weight that we are now. And I think there's, you know, the guys are smart enough to know that. So it's like one of them deals, like the potential that this combination has. Woo, fuck, man.
It can go. It can. We can put more in it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, and we just have to test it, run it. The problem with that is right now there's fucking 8 races in a row coming up. When the fuck are you gonna have time to test and work?
And change. You got breakdowns could be coming, you know.
Freshen the motor up. Like you know, we broke in Epping and everybody's like, you can't put that many passes on rods. I'm like, well, I don't turn my engine like a Hemi turns. No. And I know, you know, these cars at this level that do this. You know, I was just trying to find a middle ground. And I honestly thought 50 would be fucking pretty close.
Didn't even Gerald say he wanted a couple more out of it? Or
yeah, we had no trouble. The detonation's what got the rods.
Yeah. Because I remember him in his rebuild video was saying this is what failed, but he said I wanted a handful more passes out of it.
2 more.
It was just 2? Okay.
2 more, and we would have mic'd everything, and we would have said, okay, it could have. He can mic things and look and see.
Yeah, because people were like, oh, you should have done everything at 20 passes, and you're like, what the fuck? No, not 20 passes.
You know why they say that? It's because they see some fucking other racer say that they changed theirs to 20 passes. And go to their Facebook page and look at their race car. Yeah. Tell me if they changed theirs every 20 passes. The fucking rods are $1,500 to $1,800 a set, whatever. And it's not about exactly the money. It's just like, you know, the Hemis turn their shit like 10,000 RPM, whatever. We're only turning that big block 8,100. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. Yeah. They're running 50 pounds of boost, and I'm running 45 pounds of boost. You know what I mean?
That's 3,000 to 4,000 more RPMs. What's that got to just total on something, you know, on a different engine?
But. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot. There's so many variables that people aren't taking in consideration that tell you to do things that they've fucking never done before. You know what I mean? So, I don't get caught up in all that. Like, we know what we've seen at Gerald's. Yeah. When, you know, I took the information that Matt gave us as far as the heads go once I sent them to him. Like, we had a whole game plan of what we were going to do with the engine after Epping without it breaking. Right. Once it broke, we had to figure out why. Right. And once we figured out why, then it's like, what's our game plan from here? And I feel like I got some of the smartest people there are around to guide me into that information. And that's Gerald, that's Matt, that's Mark, that's Craig.
You got a hell of a team.
It's Joe.
Yeah. I mean, any, just the fact that you can have anybody on standby to be like, hey, what do I need to, I'm out of ideas. Do you have any idea what to change this to make this work? And they can be like, give me a minute. And
I feel like one of my biggest attributes is the people that I pick around me and my program and what they bring to it as far as they care, one.
Yeah.
And two, like the loyalty. You know what I mean?
They want to see you succeed.
Yeah, for sure. Not only their products, but like I don't want to get anybody on board with me helping me out and shit if they just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They're just like, I want to stick my sticker on that car.
No.
Yeah, fuck all that.
I want that. I'm the same way. Like I would want someone to be involved.
Well,
know my car, know my kids, know my life.
Yeah,
that's a huge difference.
Look at the people around me. I've had Mark there since day one.
Yep.
I've had Craig there since day one. When the car got back, he was, he was hands on. Brando Speed, same people that I've used forever.
Yep.
Does it suck to drive to Iowa sometimes for some little something? Yeah, but it's worth it to me. Brandon and Shane have done a terrific job. Zach, I think Zach went and did his own thing in Illinois, but when the car went back up there to be
he came back
updated,
to work on it.
Fucking came back to work.
Man,
on it.
that's cool.
Yeah, Zach,
because probably because it's like, man, I got a hand in that car.
It sure does. It's fun and it's exciting and it's enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Even though like I'm such a part of it, other people be a part of it and stuff. I did a lot of like kicking around who the fuck was going to help tune this thing or set it up or do this, and me and Shane got together and I trust Shane's opinion. Shane's got a lot of work and time in this car. We landed on Joe at Hyperactive Solutions, and I do not regret that one bit.
No.
Like, fuck, he's been Johnny on the spot, and he's been a huge part of our success in this. Him and Craig working together has been huge, and I've never met him before this season.
Yeah,
but I just felt like this was an animal that we needed to get a hold of real quick, and be able to figure out. And he was a big part of why we were able to figure it out. And then, Craig's got a really good eye for the conditions of the track and everything else.
Yeah.
So them two working together has been a huge part of our success with the car this early. Yeah. Now, do I think we're halfway through the season? Do I think it's something that's just going to fucking live on? Who knows? Between the cost of making all these races, keeping it alive, keeping it healthy, all that shit, that's going to be our biggest fucking downfall of the season. And I said that from day one.
Yeah.
But I don't have a spare engine. I do have spare parts, and I'm accumulating some more spare parts. But,
how about having a whole spare car like Ryan?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
But you know what?
But that car will be ready to go back.
I'll say that's from years of fucking dedication.
Oh, yeah.
And that's years of putting in the work and putting yourself in a position where you can have a spare car.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah, it ain't nothing to turn your nose up at. That shit's earned.
Me and Javi, and I think Craig was there, had a long late night campfire in Virginia that turned into, how it started for them.
Yeah.
And that was before my first finals. You know what I mean? Like this was early this season. How it started for them, how they made it work, how they did this, how they did that. And it sounds so familiar because it's like, we did that. They did a lot of that, but it wasn't so public like it is now for us.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how big MPK is. Mm-hmm. We're doing it like they did 5 years ago.
Right.
But we have to do it that way amongst all these giants.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's why people point it out so much. And then having success on top of that.
they kind of forget about guys like Ryan. Like, oh, well,
They
you
do.
know, well, and they forget about some of the OGs because
They do.
some of the fans will they comment nasty shit like, man, I remember watching this show when these guys were getting paid to get like their teeth fixed and shit and living in trailer houses. Sean was, you know, driving around with a flatbed and a beat up F-250 or something. Like, well, everyone has a start. I mean,
I'll never forget.
Are you mad at them because they got money now and then they busted their ass to get here?
And people forget that they work for these resources and they forget that they work for these positions and stuff. You know, and I think we catch some hate from others, not everybody. I hate when I say things and people take it to heart. It's like it's everybody, but it's like everybody's always jockeying for position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even at your daily job or whatever. Everybody wants to impress the boss and everything else.
Yep.
But it's like we're coming in, we're winning, we're getting attention and all that shit. Some people can take it on the chin and be like, fuck, I need to buckle down and win. I need to do this, I need to do that. And then some people start pointing the finger and blaming and going, that's not fair and all that shit.
Well, you're no brown noser.
No. Hell no.
That's kind of the way, if you're getting at that, like, oh, I think I'm brown nosing my way in, like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You're winning races. You're not buddying up to people to get, you know, ahead in this thing. It's dedication, hard work, a lot of stress. And how have you gone this long through it without a NHRA license?
Oh fuck it!
Tell me about this because it's been heavy on my mind when you told me, and I was like, you actually need one of these?
Okay, so beginning of the season, we passed tech. We looked at this. We did have all of our T's crossed and I's dotted and everything, and I didn't realize this, but you need an NHRA license to run these sanctioned events. And I didn't know that. Well, come to find out, I'm the only driver in Invitational, I guess, or maybe even fucking in all of it that has never had or doesn't have an NHRA license to race these cars at this level. So, I got that brought up to me.
Can you get those at the tag office?
So they gave me a form to fill out.
Oh, that's cool.
I had to do a physical and get this form filled out. So I've had to apply for my very first NHRA license. Wasn't quite sure how to do any of that. But it's pretty ironic that you're a points leader and
and you got to look at it like he ain't even got his endorsement on his license.
We don't have an NHRA license on this dude.
Do you get like a driver's license?
Who the fuck is this dude? That's what they say. I don't know. I think it's a piece of paper. I think.
Oh man, sure. Well that blows. I was about to say I know the first thing he's doing is probably like changing his weight. Like I dropped like 10 pounds. So yeah. Speaking of that, man, you are looking good, man. I mean, you look like you've slimmed down a few. I mean, I remember we made that video and you were like, oh, I'm still like 220 or whatever. And I was like, but, you know, you look way better. And you're like, yeah, it's just stress. It's just stress and not eating bologna.
I mean, you know, you've known me a long time.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed working out, doing stuff like that. Like I lived in the gym. And when I wasn't like racing all the time, I had a lot of time to spend in the gym. And just competitive type shit. And, you know, me and you talked about a lot. You early in the season started doing a lot of dieting, a lot of getting in the gym, and then mine became less and less as we were like getting busier and busier. But like, I mean, it's like 235, 238 whenever we started. Probably early this year.
Well, I remember I think I remember it was like the Seduce Fire video when you pulled your shirt off to smother out the fire. We were going back to the video, and there was a part where I had Damon where he had his shirt off, and he was like, "Man, I can't believe this." He's like, "Don't post that."
Yeah, don't post that.
I was like, "You look fine." You're like, "I get fat."
Yeah,
it's like you
don't like it.
You're like, "You didn't look bad." You're like, no.
I mean, I've never been one to like post out workout videos and bullshit like that, but I'm like,
you always seem very fit. You know, I mean, pretty fit. And
my dad, and genetically, it's been a blessing of mine, and the competitive side, like I did a lot of kickboxing and weightlifting and that shit. And then I was like, ooh, I gotta get some weight off. Like the car is gonna be heavy. I already know. can I contribute by losing 20 pounds by the front of the season? And we got close.
Yeah.
Like,
We got on those wheelchair weights, and look down, you're like, oh, I've dropped quite a few.
What I drew, 18 pounds?
Yeah.
Like I lost 18
you
pounds.
like 18 pounds. I think you were going for like 20, 25, and you're like, oh, I'm still 220 or whatever. So it's like, I still need to drop about another 5'10", I'll be good.
Yeah.
Your dad's been busting some ass, man. He
changed his diet a lot.
What was he up to? Like 260? He said he was like 260?
He was like 280 something.
280,
time,
yeah.
And now he's like 250 something. But
yeah,
he cut out a lot of sugars and stuff.
Good for him.
But like,
shit gets harder as you get older.
I've told Lacey that. I was like, have you fucking, like, Russell's been going to the gym, changing his diet and all that. I need to get back into that a lot more. I feel a lot better when I'm working out and stuff, but right now it's just been like fucking constant car.
The hardest thing I've found out about this, and I'm very grateful to like.
You've been dedicated. I don't give a fuck what you're about to say. You've been dedicated.
Well, and I got it from my buddy Dusty Brown. You know, man, he instilled it in me. You know, the thing he kept telling me was more or less, it's just about, more or less, just, you know, taking. What's the word for it? You say like where you take accountability.
Oh yeah, accountability.
And I was like, and I didn't understand what that meant until I was looking, going, God damn, man! It's like I had a good diet going, and then I had McDonald's for lunch, and I ate shitty, and then it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I had 6 Oreo cookies. Yeah. What kind of accountability is that?
Yep. You fucked it up. Well, even like me coming over here, and you said I haven't drank in forever, and here we are, like having a couple of drinks and doing this.
And I'm sauced.
Enjoy it, but you better fucking. That's it. You're done.
Oh no, I'm done.
You're done.
I was having 2 of these every night.
Yeah, no.
2, yeah,
not anymore.
2 old fashions every night. And after I saw how much sugar was in that and how much weight it was putting on me, I was like, I gotta stop.
I've always been.
I'm not gonna be one of those guys like, oh, I went and got sober. I love alcohol. I love alcohol, but you have to find a balance.
Yes,
you have to find balance is something. And I wish I would have just like Dusty said. Dusty said when he started getting in good shape, he said, man, and he's
all those little
he's
things.
older than you. I think he's 43 or 44, I think. And he's just like, dude, I wish I would have figured this out like 15 years ago. Started this in my late 20s. He said, I would be a physical god right now. But he said, I didn't start doing this till I was in my 40s. Yeah. And I was like, but that just shows it's never too late. Your dad's doing good. He's dieting. He
feels better. That was his
main thing. His demeanor
just
seems so much better.
I was worried kind of at the first of the season. Like, when we start fucking racing, it gets hot. It's going to be hard on him. He's fucking 280 something.
And he hasn't quit. Tulsa was the point where I was like,
he's 70. I mean, 69. He's about to be 70.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, it doesn't hit me because he's right there with me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
In the shop, at the races, fucking late nights, whatever.
Yeah.
And I've always, you know, if I worry about something, I got to step back and go, he's fucking 70 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to accept sometimes. And then you got to go, I got to do this shit myself, but he's always there for guidance and everything. You know?
Well, and just your personal thing is like, you always talk about your parents, like, God dang it. Well, it's like, remember when we were kids and our parents were 35 and we thought they were just old as shit. And then you wake up one day and you're like, fuck, I'm 40.
You have no idea. Yeah.
I mean, I'm creeping, dude. I'm only 2 years behind you, but still, it's like, just when I used to think my dad was just like a fat piece of shit at like 37, and I'm like, I'm a year older than him. Like, I gotta like, oh shit. But you seen what was going on. You learned from it. Yeah. You know what I mean? As much as, and it'll be the same with Bryson. As much as I learned from my dad, I also learned what not to do sometimes and shit. And it's fucking amazing to have that. It is, and you know,
he'll tell you he's not too prideful enough to be like, don't do that.
No.
And I gotta be that way with Bryson.
Well, and it's rough, but you know, I had a lot of issues with my dad here and there. I mean, we were, regardless of everything, I miss him every day. But the one thing that still rings true was he'd have a little too much drink, he'd get a little teary eyed, and want to have talks with me and stuff. And he'd say, Russell, the only reason I tell you this stuff is because I want you to be better than me. And I was like, like how? And he's like, I just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're already there. Just keep being better than me. And I was like, damn. I mean, that shit hits. That's some deep cuts. Yeah. But, and I understand because he said, I know you laugh at me telling you stuff about me running from the cops and all this shit.
All the good stories.
All the greatest stories I've ever heard, But he also said those were just, that was what I was in store for later.
Yeah.
Because, when you live full throttle, you run out of gas.
Yeah.
He's 51,
it's
man.
It's not the age, it's the miles. I've said that over and over.
And everyone said it. They're like, damn, I know your dad only lived to 51, but shit, as fast as he went, he might as well went out an 80-year-old man. I'm like, oh, I know.
Lived a life, yeah.
So, well, dude, we've had fun. Pound it.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate this so much coming over here to do this. I mean, we blew through, god damn, it's almost 3 hours worth of talking.
Well, we went from before MPK started into where we're at, setting number one in points after 6 races. It's 3 hours worthy.
Oh, no, it is. And
For all the shit we've been through.
It has, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. I've had fun bullshitting with you. We got to do it more often, but it's just like we said, when do you have time to slow down?
I know. We've been trying to do this for weeks.
Yeah. Well, we've actually been talking about it. Eventually we're going to do it live, from MPK, but for now, in the comfortability of AC and being in a room where we've got complete silence.
You probably don't want to talk to me after a fucking Friday or Saturday night that had been the fire suit.
Even after you won grade 8, I was like, I'm not gonna be. Hey, let's do it. You go back to your hotel room, bro. I'll see you tomorrow. Fuck off.
It's been, and I felt like when we won that, I didn't take it in enough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That was our first big finals win.
Yeah,
and now I look back at it and go, I should have enjoyed that a little bit better.
Yeah,
but it's hindsight.
That's how it is. Well, cheers, man. Been good times. Thank
you,
cheers,
sir.
Everybody. Had fun, and see you at the racetrack.
See you there.